Cincinnati, Ken Anderson will be at quarterback. He came off the bench to rally them to victory a week ago at New Orleans. If Cincinnati wins and Pittsburgh loses at Los Angeles, they both wind up 8-8, and the title will belong to the Bengals. The Raiders have incentive. If they win today, they'll host the wild card game next week against Seattle. It's coming up next on NFL 84.
NFL 84 is brought to you by the 1985 Jetta, the new affordable German road car from Volkswagen. By Curtis Mathis, a little more expensive but worth it. And by Canon. So advanced, Canon is the world's leader in 35mm photography.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Bob Costas, and welcome to the final Sunday of the regular season on NFL 84. Bill McAtee, Ahmad Rashad, and Pete Axthelm are here with me, and coming up on the pregame show, Bill talks with Ken Anderson, the Bengal All-Pro turned relief pitcher. Ahmad Rashad visits with Steeler quarterback Mark Malone and his two outstanding receivers, rookie Lewis Lipps and the great veteran John Stallworth. They'll all have to be at the top of their games today if the Steelers are to upset the Raiders in Los Angeles. And this being the final Sunday of the regular season, it is time for Pete Axthelm to hand out his dreaded consolation awards all around the league. Coaches and players waiting anxiously to see if their names will be called. Now, most of you will see a doubleheader today on NBC, and most of you will see Buffalo at Cincinnati as the first part of it. The standings again in the AFC Central. The Bengals have never been in first place all year long. In fact, they dropped their first 5 games before staging a fine comeback. If they should win today, however, and they are favored against Buffalo, and if the Steelers, who are the underdogs, lose to the Raiders, and both clubs wind up 8-8, the title belongs to the Bengals. The two teams split their regular season meetings, but the Bengals have a better record in the AFC Central, and that could prove to be the decisive factor. Now, those of you who don't see Buffalo at Cincinnati, you'll see either the Jets at Tampa Bay, the Colts at New England, Cleveland at Houston, simply because that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now let's go out to the sites and get a preview of the games you'll be watching.
Here are the standings in the AFC Central Division. Pittsburgh with a 1-game lead over Cincinnati. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Charlie Jones along with Bob Greasy, but a very simple equation, Bob, in the Central Division. Cincinnati today hosting Buffalo. If Cincinnati wins, and they are the favorite, and Pittsburgh loses to the Raiders later today, that means that Cincinnati is in the playoffs. Tell me about Buffalo. They won only 2 games this year.
Well, they've won 2 of their last 4, though, and they're playing a lot better than they did early on. They could be the spoiler here today.
And what about Cincinnati? They had a poor start this year, 0-5.
Well, they did, but they're coming on. They've won 7 of their last 10. Kenny Anderson is really playing well. Here throwing to James Brooks, number 21 out of the backfield. Cincinnati likes to throw to their backs and their tight end. Collingsworth may not play today. We'll have to wait and see.
And, of course, we'll have more on the Kenny Anderson story later on NFL 84. We'll be back with a ball game. It could be the decider. Right now, let's go back to New York, NFL 84.
And most of you will see the Steelers and the Raiders from Los Angeles as the second half of today's NBC doubleheader. As you may have heard, late last night, a deal was worked out between the city of Philadelphia and Eagles owner Leonard Toews. So after a week of anxiety, it turns out that the Eagles will remain in Philadelphia after all. Now, remember when you were a kid and you used to sit around with your buddies making up all kinds of ridiculous hypothetical situations? Like what would happen if Babe Ruth faced Sandy Koufax? Or more importantly, what if King Kong and Godzilla had a fight? Well, Pete Axthelm, considering the situation in the NFC East, what if the Cardinals and the Redskins tie today?
Bob, I think it's an act of great moral courage that you have chosen to share with America these moments from a twisted youth. The answer to your question, however, is if these two teams tie, a great part of America who follow my 5-star specials will be delighted because they'll have the Cardinals plus 6.5. Redskins favored in the game, but NFC East teams are 2-11 after playing Dallas. Also, it's a poetic justice game. The only way the Giants can be kept out of the playoffs is the Skins or Miami must lose. Dolphins won't lose Monday night. Therefore, the Skins have to lose because if you've watched the Giants the last 2 weeks, you know they don't belong in the playoffs. Take the Cardinals plus 6.5. Patriots 10 over the Colts in the long-awaited coaching debut of Hal Hunter for Indianapolis. While you're trying to figure out who Hal is, pay attention to the fact that New England, in closing games with no incentive to win, 0-6 since 1976. Colts will get revenge for their 50-17 slaughter earlier in the year. Take the Colts plus 10. Bengals 13.5 over the Bills. Bengals need it. My weatherman, Fast Eddie, reports it's a record high 67 degrees in Cincinnati. This means you can probably look for snow if Eddie's record is intact. The Bengals have not beaten an AFC East team at home by this margin since 1975. Like many other things at the holidays, this game is overpriced. Take Buffalo plus 13.5. Best of the rest, Raiders -6 over the Steelers. Raiders with the biggest payroll in football will show again today why they're worth it. Raiders -6. Lions are pick'em over the Bears. Another long-awaited clash between John Witkowski of Columbia and Greg Landry of Arizona in the USFL. There'll be a lot of sacks in this game. I look for the Lions to win the battle of the sacks. Lions at pick'em are the choice. Finally, the Packers are -7.5 over the Vikings. You might wonder, am I through picking on poor Les Steckel for this year? The answer is no. I have to give some awards out later in the show, and I'll get my last shot at him. But right now, I'm taking the Packers -7.5. The Vikings might be the worst defense ever assembled in the history of professional sports. On top of that, this is what Ahmad Rashad calls a tape game. Ahmad, would you care to explain that?
Look, Pete, now at this point in the season, with a record like the record that they have, there's major arguments in the locker room. You know what they're about? Who was going to buy the tapes for the long ride home?
Take the Packers -7.5, and may the music be with you.
Is that the end? Well, I guess that means that we'll break away for a commercial message now, and when we come back, Bill McAtee will talk with Bengals quarterback Ken Anderson. Stay with us if you're so inclined. Bill McAtee, it wasn't long ago that Ken Anderson was an all-pro quarterback and he had the Bengals in the Super Bowl, but now he's entered a different stage of his athletic career.
Well, I think every player who's been in the league for a while probably goes through this period in his career. The Bengals have drafted their quarterback of the future in Boomer Esiason, but last week when Esiason didn't move the club, Sam White didn't hesitate at all going with Kenny Anderson, and he was certainly effective. The odd thing about Kenny when you look back on his career is that without that Super Bowl season of 1981, Anderson probably wouldn't have gotten the recognition his statistics say he deserved.
Anderson, wide open is Collinsworth. Anderson to throw. Touchdown! M.L. Harris.
I don't think that this team with anybody else playing quarterback would go to the Super Bowl that year. He had the most unbelievable year that anybody who's ever played quarterback has ever had. Of course, he won the passing title. He was the most valuable player of the league that year. And it was just astounding to watch him. He made almost no errors throughout the entire year. It was just phenomenal to watch.
And consistency has been Kenny Anderson's trademark throughout his nearly 14 years in the league. Among active quarterbacks who have thrown at least 1,000 passes, Anderson is the top-rated quarterback in the AFC. But he is a low-keyed individual whose approach to life and the game has kept him from the spotlight.
I think in a certain sense it's probably a product of my personality a little bit. As you can tell, I'm not the flashiest guy in the world. I don't have a lot to say a lot of times, and therefore a lot of times you don't direct a lot of attention towards yourself. Publicity and attention on myself is not something I really needed to thrive on, and so therefore it really hasn't bothered me that much.
Kenny is one of those guys that there are a lot of stories, but there aren't any real knee slappers that you come up with and say, now, let me tell you this one will bury his reputation forever. Kenny is a straight shooter for one thing. I know that on and off the field, he's that.
While reputation may not put Ken Anderson in the company of the game's great quarterbacks, the statistics do. In addition to a knack for making the big play, during the strike season, he completed 70% of his passes, 60% for his career. And on the all-time completions list, he ranks third in the company of Fran Tarkenton and Johnny Unitas. But this has not been a typical Ken Anderson year. His interception percentage is up, and injuries have been a problem.
I think it's been a kind of a frustrating one for me. Yeah, number one, because of injuries. You know, you play a couple games and you sit out. You play a couple and you sit out, and that hasn't been a lot of fun. So I was very fortunate the first part of my career. I was very relatively injury-free. I didn't miss many games for the first 8 or 9 years. I've taken a lot of hits in 14 years, and sometimes it just takes its toll on your body.
But when the Bengals had to win a week ago, it was Anderson who fired up the dormant Cincinnati offense. Coming off the bench, he threw 2 touchdown passes in the third quarter, and the Bengals forced the Central Division race to Week 16.
Obviously, our division is not one of the stronger ones in the league this year. When you look at the records of the 4 teams combined, as far as what we've done in the division, we're 5-1 in our division. So I think if we would happen to go in as division champs, I think that would represent our division very well. As far as the 8-8 record goes, it's not a great record, but other teams have squeaked into the playoffs. If we happen to get lucky and make it, I won't feel bad about it at all.
In spite of the fact that Kenny's probably headed for the Hall of Fame, you have to feel that next year Sam White will want to begin building his offense around Boomer Esiason.
Okay, if that happens, you think Anderson would seek a trade to another club where he could start, or could he remain as a backup and accept it?
You know, Bob, he's got the kind of temperament, I think, where he would sacrifice his personal goals for the good of the team. I think you saw that a little bit this year.
All right, Bill, thanks very much. Coming up next on NFL 84, Ahmad Rashad takes a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that has a 1-game lead and yet might find themselves later this afternoon with their backs to the wall. It's a curious situation, which we'll explain next on NFL 84.
Brightest of the...
Here's the situation the Pittsburgh Steelers face today. They've lost 3 out of 5. It may be necessary for them to beat the Raiders in Los Angeles in order to make the playoffs. That means beating the defending world champions, a team which they have not defeated since 1975. The Raiders have won their last 6 games with the Steelers, beating the Raiders on their home field and in a game where the Raiders also have incentive because a Raider victory today would give them home field advantage in the wild card game next week against the Seahawks. So, Ahmad Rashad, Pittsburgh could really be up against it later on this afternoon.
Bob, it's incredible that the once powerful Steelers are in this situation. Because when I think back of the Steelers, I think about the glory days in the 70s when they won all the Super Bowls and everything. And when I was in Pittsburgh last week, I ran into a guy, Rocky Blyer, you remember the name, a great running back, and we talked about the new-look Steelers. And one of the things that we both agreed on, that even though they're going through a rebuilding situation, they've still remained at the top of their division.
Throughout the 70s, all-pro wide receiver John Stallworth was like the Rock of Gibraltar. It is now a new-look Steeler team. Gone are Terry Bradshaw and also the Steel Curtain.
In the past, we could step on the field and there was a certain gloom that went on other people's faces. We always felt. We felt that we had a certain amount of respect in the league and that teams were going to have to come and play very hard to beat us. Now, I think that the respect has dwindled a little bit because of the changing of the guard, but I think we have good young talent.
When speaking of young talent, the name that comes to mind is Louis Lips, a most exciting receiver who also doubles as the league's leading punt returner.
We've always emphasized the big play because, you know, it can always be a turning point. And, you know, when the season first started, we went deep a lot, and it was pretty successful. And ever since then, you know, the quarterbacks have confidence in us, and you know, they know if they throw it up there deep, that we is going to get it or nobody's going to get it.
Louis is a phenomenal athlete. He's a threat anytime he touches the ball, and now he's gaining a lot of respect from opposing teams. Teams are not able to load up on me as much as they've done in the early season. And Louis is going to be one of the great ones in this league. He does so many things so well. He's quick, has great hand-eye coordination, great leaping ability, and he's strong. And I'm healthy. So our passing game now is more consistent, a lot more consistent than it was last year.
One of the things that people don't realize, when you have 2 great receivers, there's some competition going on within that game. One guy goes out and makes a great play, and it makes the other guy want to go out and top that play. So that makes your offense even better.
For sure, that is right. But one thing, too, we're always competing. It's something that Lynn and I used to do on the field. He came in with a big play, then I felt almost compelled to do the same. That's getting back. I'm getting that feeling back again, trying to get Louis into that flow. And once we have that little competitiveness going on during the course of the game, I think you're going to see a lot of big plays out of this offense.
It's definitely a mutual admiration society between these 2 receivers, and rookie Louis Lips takes full advantage of John Stallworth's experience.
He's a leader on and off the field, and he's helped me out a tremendous amount. And you know, just having him out there, you know, that's just like having another coach.
Quarterback Mark Malone has spent most of his career as a backup, first to Terry Bradshaw,
then to Cliff Stout, and he started this season as a backup to David Woodley. He's finally gotten his chance, and he's quickly developing into one of the league's stars. The Steelers once again have a chance at postseason play, but in their way, their old nemesis, the Raiders.
It's a win-or-lose situation. We control our own destiny. We lose the ball game, Cincinnati wins, we have an early Christmas. And one in which we probably won't be able to buy as many presents because the playoff money won't be there.
You know, Mark Malone is an incredible story. He's one of the few quarterbacks in the National Football League that call their own plays. Now, that's amazing because nowadays you have quarterbacks that play their entire career and never call a play. That's why when you watch a game and you see the time running out and they're in the huddle and you see the quarterback get up and call timeout, the reason they do that is because they can't remember the last time that they called a play.
Well, you'll see two quarterbacks then calling their own plays today, Steelers and Raiders, because that's the Al Davis and Tom Flores philosophy, let the quarterback call his own plays.
That'll be definitely part of the matchup. John Stallworth told me that one of the main things that they can do with him and Lewis Lips is they can go to the quarterback, find a weakness, and be able to get to it right away.
How confident were they this week? Obviously, they're a big underdog.
They really are. Last year, when they played the Raiders at the end of the season, they felt like the season was going down. Now they feel like they're gaining momentum, and Mark Malone tells me that their attitude is that if they can win and win the division, they should go to the playoffs. They don't care what Cincinnati's doing. They don't want to back in. They should win in order to go on to the playoffs.
So they feel like they ought to be 9-7 and win it outright in order to have some dignity about it.
Well, they'd have some dignity, and they'd be able to buy a few more Christmas presents.
They'd still go, even if they were 8-8, though, wouldn't they? They wouldn't decline the invitation.
That's right. They get 0-0 when the playoff starts.
All right. Coming up next, the league's scoundrels and ne'er-do-wells meet their fate as Pete Axthelm hands out his year-end awards. We'll be right back. As you know, at the end of each season, the NFL hands out a Most Valuable Player award, a Coach of the Year citation, and they also designate an All-Pro squad. You would think that would be enough awards. That's what you would think, but not Pete Axthelm.
Herewith, my consolation prizes for 1984. The Silver Lining Award to the New York Jets, who awarded a game ball to defensive coach Joe Gardy and claimed that they had turned it around in last week's stirring victory. The Jets, who had lost 6 straight, were celebrating a tremendous 4-point rout of 2-13 Buffalo. The foot and mouth citation was earned by Browns coach Marty Schottenheimer, who recently boasted that he would soon have the best kicking game in the NFL. That week, needing only a simple punt to beat the Bengals and save a playoff hope, the Browns got it blocked. Marty, these silver-toed devils need some fine-tuning. The most creative cliche award was one of the easiest to give. Frank Cush mixed metaphors and proverbs from across the centuries to describe a turning point in one Colts defeat as the camel that broke the monkey's back. Engraved copies of the standings are being mailed with compliments to the Eagles and Chiefs. These guys played hard right to the wire, as if they didn't know they were eliminated. And that brings us to the flip side of that coin, the coveted Run for the Bus Award. This is the prize for the guys who truly understand when a situation is hopeless and act accordingly. They are extremely good at packing luggage for quick postseason getaways. They wear large timepieces to count the minutes until the ordeal is over. They accelerate mainly to get out of bounds or onto the airport bus. This year's winners began training camp with a grueling boot camp. They have finished by yielding a mere 203 points in 5 games. Call it unconditional surrender, and wave a white handkerchief at those rapidly retreating Minnesota Vikings. Vikings, there is a bright spot in all this. The Run for the Bus Award covers double mileage on your airline bonus program. We also happen to have an expert in this studio, a former mainstay of the Minnesota Vikings. Ahmad, I'd like your views on this club.
Actually, you know, my father once told me that you only get what you pay for. So Mike Glenn has to share this award because he didn't pay for anything and he got nothing, especially on defense.
I think it's good that at the end of a long, grueling regular season, somebody found something almost good to say about poor Les Steckel. Les, may the hat be with you. Bob?
And evidently, the Run for the Bus Award is a statuette of Ralph Cramden. We'll be back at halftime, at which time the playoff picture should be coming into sharper focus. We'll have all the scores and highlights for you, so we'll see you a little bit later on.
GRZ TV2 Buffalo.
Today, from Riverfront Stadium, it's the Buffalo Bills versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Today's game is brought to you by Mazda and the full line of sophisticated Mazda products. By Michelob Light, you can have it all. And by the people of AT&T Communications. We're thinking about your business in ways you never thought of.
Here are the standings in the AFC Central Division. The Pittsburgh Steelers with a one-game lead over the Cincinnati Bengals, but that's not the complete story. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Charlie Jones along with Bob Greasy. Due to the tie-breaking system in the National Football League, if Cincinnati wins today, if they defeat Buffalo, and should the Steelers lose to the Raiders later today in Los Angeles, that means that Cincinnati would move into the playoffs. And we have, Bob, gorgeous Southern California weather.
It's South Florida weather. What are you talking about? The quarterbacks love this type of weather, though, Charlie. December 16th in Cincinnati, you would expect a lot worse. But today, I think you're going to see a lot of offense. The defenses don't like it so much, but the quarterbacks are going to love it.
Now let's go to the keys to the game. First for Buffalo.
Well, I think for Buffalo, they have to be motivated. Kay Stevenson has got to get his team together. They're 2-13. They're coming on the road. They're playing their last game of the season. He's got to get them into this ball game, get them motivated to be the spoiler today for the Cincinnati Bengals.
And what is the key for Cincinnati?
Well, I think they need an early lead. They are going to be motivated. They've got an opportunity to get in the playoffs. They didn't have a very good start. They have the motivation. They need an early lead. If they can get an early lead, they may be able to take Buffalo right out of the ball game.
And what is your quarterback quote today?
Well, Charlie, Cincinnati has had a rough go. They started off 0-5. They finished the season 7-3. If they can win this ball game today, and later on today the Pittsburgh Steelers will lose to the Raiders, that means they have an opportunity to win the division and get into the playoffs. So today for Cincinnati, it's a win and a wait.
But first things first for Sam Weiss, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. He has to win. Buffalo won the toss, and they'll be receiving. And that means that Jim Breach will be kicking off for the Cincinnati Bengals. Van Williams and Donald Wilson are the deep backs for the Bills. The sun is shining in Cincinnati. And here's Van Williams, drops the ball at the 4, picks it up, adds to the 15. Leans across the 20 to the 23, maybe the 24-yard line. 19 yards on the return. Jimmy Turner making the tackle along with Guy Frazier. As a look at the offense, Dufek is the quarterback. The rookie running back, Greg Bell, above 1,000 yards. Booker Moore, Preston Denard, Byron Franklin, and the tight end is Tony Hunter. That offensive line of Ken Jones, Jim Richard, Will Grant, John Borchardt, and Joe Devlin. Officials spot the ball at the 23-yard line. Play action. Throwback screen, left side tight end, Tony Hunter. Hunter to the 30, Hunter to the 40, slipped as he made his cut, and he'll be down at the 45-yard line. A gain of 23 yards on the play. Glenn Cameron was the first man there. He touched him down. Defensively, Eddie Edwards, Tim Krumrie, Ross Browner for the Bengals. Jeff Shue, Ron Simpkins, Glenn Cameron, and he is bothered by a staph infection. Reggie Williams, the linebackers. Breeden, Horton, Kemp, and Jackson, the secondary for Cincinnati. They marked the ball at the Buffalo 46-yard line, first down. Bills come out firing. Greg Bell. Cincinnati 46-yard line. Jeff Shue with the tackle.
Charlie, I think you're seeing in the first 2 plays the attitude of Kay Stevenson and the Buffalo Bills. They have nothing to lose. First 2 plays on a gorgeous day in Cincinnati pass plays. First, a tight end screen to Hunter. The second, a little dump-off pass to Bell. They have nothing to hold back for. They're going to play as best they can. They're going to go out and try to get some momentum going for next season.
A gain of 8, second down and 2. Cincinnati 46-yard line, no score. Game just underway. Bell hit at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Greg Bell, #1 draft choice. 1,042 yards rushing coming into the game. Glenn Cameron with the tackle, along with Reggie Williams. Greg Bell leading all NFL rookies in rushing.
Number 69 is Crumry in the middle of the defensive line. You'll see him playing off of 73 Borchardt. Gets over there and makes a piece of the tackle, gives a little support. But the man that really made the play was Williams, number 57, who came into the backfield and stopped the running back in his tracks.
Reggie Williams, the leading tackler for Cincinnati. Rob Riddick checking into the offense. Pass is complete, 41-yard line. A gain of 5 yards and a first down for the Buffalo Bills. Defensively, Ron Simpkins bringing down Julius Dawkins. So the drive that started back at the Buffalo 23-yard line continues.
Take a look at the numbers for Joe Dufek last week. He played very well in the first half, and then the Jets got on him a little bit by blitzing him. He was a little bit flustered. I'm sure we may see some of that later on by the Bengals.
Byron Franklin wide to the right side. Throw goes to the other side to Preston Denard, and he steps out at the 27-yard line. Gain of 14 yards on the play. Ray Horton for the defense. And the Bills have cranked up their offense.
Well, and they've called some plays to really establish the confidence for Joe Dufek. They've called some safe plays, a little screen to open the ball game, a little short passes. They made some first downs. Dufek is beginning this game like he has the last two, and that is playing very well in the first half.
He's completed 4 of 4. 50 yards of this drive has been through the air. First down, Bengal 27-yard line. Second back is Bell. Slips the tackle. Puts his shoulder down and picks up the first down. Right cornerback Ray Horton was there to hit him. Bell, 5'10", 210-pounder out of Notre Dame. He was injured the last 2 years in college, and there's a lot of surprises when Buffalo took him in the first round.
Well, I think those surprises have been answered. I think any critic of that first-round selection has been answered by the fact that he's gained over 1,000 yards this year and has caught a lot of passes coming out of the backfield.
Gain of 11, 16-yard line of the Bengals. No score, opening drive. 11:46, time remaining first quarter. Bell closed off inside, jumps outside, still picks up a couple, maybe 3 yards on the play, and the marker is down.
Look, Charlie, like Ken Jones, 72, jumped a little bit as we look at Joe Ferguson with his baseball cap on.
And notice the shadows across the face. It is in the upper 60s, lower 70s, a warm, beautiful day for mid-December in Cincinnati.
Face mask, number 69, defense. 5-yard penalty. It is not an automatic first down. It is second down.
Jim Crumry called on the face mask.
Appeared that Ken Jones, 72, jumped, but I guess he was just getting off on the snap count the way a good offensive lineman should.
It is first down.
It'll be first down and 2 following the penalty assessed from the spot of the foul. The line of scrimmage, the 8-yard line of the Bengals. Dufek throws high, incomplete. He was throwing that one away. Denard would have been the intended receiver, but Cincinnati had 4 men in the secondary, and Cameron was putting pressure on Dufek.
Good smart play by a young quarterback, a free agent from Yale in his second season, Joe Dufek, throwing the ball away. They had more defensive backs in the secondary in the end zone than Dufek had receivers.
Dufek, by the way, is the first former Yale player to start at quarterback in the National Football League.
He should be smart enough, wouldn't you think?
You would think so. You would think so. Second and 2. Here's Bell. And he is met and pushed back. He needed 2 yards for the first down. It will be close. Let's see where they mark the end of the play. Let's take another look.
Tony Hunter, 87, is blocking on Williams, 57. You see so much tight ends receiving. Let's take a look at their blocking. Seems to get a pretty good standoff. And then he is right in the middle of the pile as the rest of the Bengals come over to stop him. Looks like he's going to be a little short.
Mark it for a gain of a yard. It's going to be 3rd down and 1 at the 7-yard line. Glenn Collins and Jerry Boyarski check into the defense for Cincinnati. 3rd down 1. Short yardage defense. Hunter in motion. He's the lead blocker for Bell. Bell around the corner is hit. His momentum takes him out of bounds right at the 6-yard line, which is what he needed to pick up the 1st down. Robert Jackson, the free safety, is the man who hit it. It will be a 1st down for the Buffalo Bills.
Booker Moore, number 34. Watch his block on Horton, number 20. He cuts his legs out from under him. Bell has to go around him. It allows the pursuit for the Bengals to get there, but Bell makes the effort to get the 1st down. Good play.
And if you noticed on the replay, as he was going out of bounds, it was not the position of the feet, the position of the football when he went out of bounds. The feet were behind the 1st down marker. The football was past it. Bell, 17 yards and 5 carries. 5-yard line. 1st down goal to go. Bell coming over the middle and just keeps going. Touchdown, Buffalo.
Very impressive drive, opening drive by the Bills as they take the ball right down and score on the Bengals. Bengals defense has been playing pretty well. Watch 53 in the middle of your screen. Will Grant knocks Crumry on his back, and then some good tough running to get into the end zone. 51 Richer escorts him into the end zone.
And Greg Bell scores from 5 yards out for Bell. That is his 7th touchdown of the season. And Chuck Nelson will attempt the point after. Matt Kofler is the holder. And tight end Mark Bramer is the snapper. The threesome involved in the extra point attempt. And it is good. 67 yards in 11 plays. And the Buffalo Bills have taken the early lead. And here it is. Greg Bell going in from 5 yards away. The opening drive. The Bengals will have to come from behind to keep their playoff hopes alive. 1,000-yard rushers for the Buffalo Bills and Greg Bell. 1,064 yards and scoring his 7th touchdown. You talked at the beginning of the football game about motivation for the Bills. At least their offense is motivated.
I don't think there's any question that Kay Stevenson got this group ready to play.
Stanford Jennings and Mike Martin are set to return the kickoff of Chuck Nelson. Jennings will field it 5 yards deep, and he'll take the touchback, so Cincinnati will go to work at their own 20-yard line. 1st down with Ken Anderson at quarterback. James Brooks and Charles Alexander, the running back. Kreider, Curtis, and Harris are the receivers. There is the possibility that Collinsworth will be in there. We'll look for him. Anthony Munoz, he has been sick, running a little flu and temperature the last couple of days. The rookie, Blados, it will be Collinsworth to start. Remington, Montoya, and Mike Wilson, that offensive line. Anderson opens with a play-action fake. Wanted to go deep, comes underneath. Brooks, the intended receiver.
Charlie, it's interesting that both teams open with a pass. You know, if there's any pressure in this ball game, it's on the Bengals because they are the ones that have some meaning for this ball game. They need to win to have a chance. Buffalo, they're just out having a good time, hoping to win because of their pride.
2nd down and 10. Buffalo leading by a score of 7-0. We're just over 4 minutes into the 1st period. And here's Brooks. The flag is down. And Brooks picks up about 3 yards, maybe 4, but we'll have to check out the marker. Ben Williams makes the tackle for Buffalo. Offsides against the Bills. So Cincinnati will take the penalty. It'll be 2nd down and 5 at the 25. Defensive line, Ben Williams, Fritz Merlis, and Ken Johnson. The linebackers are Keating, Haslett, Eugene Marv, and Darryl Talley. And in the secondary, Carpenter, Romes, Freeman, and Rod Cush. And for Cincinnati, Brooks has gone out, and Stanford Jennings is now in as a running back replacing him. 2nd down and 5. Cincinnati at their own 25-yard line. Anderson throws. It is complete. Collinsworth, 49-yard line. 24 yards on the play. Steve Freeman with the tackle. 1st down, Cincinnati.
Just the fact that Chris Collinsworth is in the lineup gives a big emotional lift, not only to the players, but also the fans. Anderson with great protection, has all kinds of time. Collinsworth keeps coming straight across the field till he finds an opening. Anderson sees him and then takes it upfield.
Collinsworth bothered by an ankle the last few weeks. Here's Brooks to the outside. Plato, the lead blocker. Out of bounds, 47-yard line of Buffalo. A gain of 5 yards on the play. Officials have spotted the ball at the 48. Brian Carpenter was there for the defense. Let's check the scoreboard. Tampa Bay leading the New York Jets by a score of 3-0. A 37-yard field goal. Detroit leading Chicago 3-0. Eddie Murray a 52-yard field goal. And Cleveland in front of Houston 7-0. And here it is Buffalo 7 and Cincinnati nothing. 2nd down and 5. Buffalo 47-yard line. Here's Ken Anderson. Contact prior to the snap. Dave Remington took the blow. The question becomes, was Fred Smerlas drawn offside?
You'd think. Fred Smerlas in the middle of the screen. See if anybody on the offense moves anything. Didn't seem to me like anybody moved.
Number 76.
Dave Remington, number 52, says it must be an easier way to get 5 yards.
He's got to be checking the line. Who moved? Did anybody move? Did anybody move?
Let me tell you what a quarterback can do. The 2 inside linebackers, Marv and Haslett, were coming up. He saw they were going to blitz, so he knew that they were all sitting on go. Changed the inflection of the voice a little bit and got him to come off sides.
With the penalty, it is 2nd down and about a half yard to go for the 1st down. Anderson to throw. In trouble. Got it away in time to Brooks for it to be incomplete. Are they going to rule in the grasp?
Grasp and control.
Grasp and control. The first sack of the ball game. Chris Keating gets it. That is only the 26th sack of the year for the Bills.
He was looking downfield, wanted to throw it downfield. As we get back to live action, what the Bengals are doing are going on a hurry-up offense, Charlie. Trying to keep some of the substitutions off of the field for the Buffalo Bills.
Charles Alexander stopped by Steve Freeman. A hurry-up offense, and Cincinnati will drop this into a drive at any given moment. The ball just outside the Buffalo 45-yard line. 4th down and just over 3. Pat McAnally dropping back to kick, a 42.6-yard average. And Donald Wilson is set for the return. Goes for the left corner. And he gets it. 2-yard line. Pat McAnally, a 43-yard kick out at the 2. When we come back, the Bills will have possession, and they lead 7-0. 8 minutes, 47 seconds. That is the time remaining in the first quarter. Buffalo leading 7-0. Greg Bell opening drive, scoring from 5 yards out. Now the Bills on their own 2-yard line. First down. Bell getting the call, and he'll pick up just a yard, maybe a little more. Let's call it 2nd down and 9. In that kind of a running play, Bob, when he hands to Bell, he's starting from about 5 yards deep in the end zone. Isn't it better to hand off to a back a little closer to the offensive line?
If any of the defensive linemen get any penetration into the backfield, you can have safety by being tackled in the end zone. It's better than handing the ball going across if the backs are split, running east or west or sideways. But you need really to get out of that end zone.
Second down 9, 3-yard line, defect to throw. As pressure goes deep, one-on-one, and it is incomplete. Ray Horton had the coverage on Byron Franklin. Horton thought that he had been interfered with.
That's good aggressive football on both sides of the center as we take another look.
It was tripping, but it was as much Horton's fault as Franklin.
I don't know if there was any contact or not. Well, maybe take a look at from this angle and see. I don't think you can call anything. No. What was happening, the defense was blitzing. The offense was going for a big play, so both teams were going aggressively in the situation.
Third down 9, shotgun formation. Dufek throwing this away. He was running out of time. He went to Mitchell Brookins. He was in the back edge of the end zone. Louis Breeden had to cover.
Well, Dufek did the proper thing again. He knows he's in a 2-point area. If he gets sacked in that area, he gives away 2 points. So he took a look, wasn't anything open, and threw it out of bounds.
And that means 4th down and 9 that John Kidd will be kicking to the #1 punt returner in the National Football League, Mike Martin. Kidd with a 42.1-yard average. There's no win. He has had 2 blocked this year. Martin takes it to the 48-yard line. Martin to the 40. Pushes a blocker out in front of him. An official goes down. The ball carrier goes down. 45-yard kick, 23-yard return.
Good blocking up front for the Bengals. Runs into one of his own men. Now you'll see him take straight up the field. Gordon Wells, the umpire, in the middle of your screen. There is no place for him to go.
Oh, he got sandwiched.
But he's all right. He's up moving around. Good field position for the Bengals.
Just outside the Buffalo 15-yard line, first down. Buffalo leading 7-0. Here's the reverse. David Mercer. 12-yard line, gain of 3, second down 7. Ken Johnson with the tackle. Washington leading St. Louis 6-0 first quarter. Heisman a touchdown pass to Monk. Tampa Bay now leading the Jets 10-0. 12-yard line of Buffalo. Sam White, the record is 7-8. Their start 0-5. But they have won 7 of their last 10. Anderson to throw. Blitz coming. It's picked up. End zone touchdown. Collinsworth's 6th touchdown of the year. Anderson's 8th touchdown throw. Now for the tie, Jim Breeden. Steve Kreider to hold. Kazurski to snap. The threesome involved. It's good.
Charlie, you're seeing the 2 MVPs of this offense for the Bengals, Collinsworth and Anderson. They both have to play well for the Bengals to get anywhere. Anderson is going to go to his right. Collinsworth is going to run straight down the field. Anderson fits it in between 22 Freeman and 55 Haslett. Great throw. You look at it from the end zone, the protection that he's getting. You don't expect the receiver to go straight down the field in that area.
We're tied at 7. that touchdown pass, Ken Anderson now tied with you, 14th place all-time touchdown passes.
Well, you know,
the record's tumbling this
moving
year.
further down the ladder as he's Kenny Anderson in his 14th year, and they really need Anderson in the lineup. He has been hurt the last 4 or 5 weeks. He had a slight shoulder separation. They need him back, and they also need Collinsworth in that lineup.
Jim Breach kicking off. We're tied 7-7. The kickoff goes out of bounds. It'll be 5 yards. We'll bring it back, and they'll kick again. You talked with Ken Anderson. He's getting to that time of his career
5-yard penalty with a
when
kick.
he's going to have to make some decisions. How much longer he wants to play. Is he going to physically be able to continue as a starting quarterback, or is it time to take a secondary role?
Well, what he told me is he's had a tough year. He's had 2 or 3 different injuries, the latest being the left shoulder, which was slightly separated 5 weeks ago. He's going to sit down. He's going to sit down after the season is over with and evaluate it, talk to his family and his wife, and see exactly what he wants to do. I asked him if he would be willing to come back in a reserve role, similar to what Don Strock or Earl Morrow has done so many years for the Dolphins, and he said that's a possibility. He didn't know, though, whether or not the Bengals would want to pay him his salary to be a backup quarterback. It'd be a nice insurance policy to have. Of course, they have Turk Schonert, who has played well, and Boomer Esiason, the young quarterback who was their second-round draft choice.
And we have the wave here in Cincinnati. Now, Bob and I were here about 6 weeks ago, and they've improved the wave. They must have been working on it. They're doing a little bit better. Donald Wilson on the return. And he is stacked up at the 19-yard line. So Buffalo motivated in that opening drive. Around 10 yards on the return. They moved 77 yards in 11 plays. Then, following the punt of Pat McInally, 2-yard line, they couldn't generate anything deep in their own end of the field. The punt, the excellent return by Mike Martin, setting up the touchdown.
I'll say one thing, Charlie. This crowd is really into it. When Buffalo took the opening drive and went down, they were very quiet. But when Cincinnati scored, they had gotten into this ball game.
18-yard line. Officials spot the ball. The crowd noise here taking the Buffalo offense out of the ball game. We've got a timeout, and we've got a tie at 7-7, 6:40. That is the time remaining. First quarter. 6 minutes, 40 seconds. Time remaining. First quarter. Ball game tied. Buffalo 7, Cincinnati 7. Once again, if Cincinnati wins and Pittsburgh loses later today in Los Angeles against the Raiders, then due to the tie-breaking procedure, Cincinnati will be the champions of the Central Division. They will move to the playoffs. If they both lose, the Steelers will be the champions. Greg Bell, the ball carrier, from the 18-yard line to the 25, a gain of 7. Second down and 3, and Jeff Shue makes the tackle. Greg Bell vastly improved as a receiver. He is the number 3 receiver on the team for the Buffalo Bills, and also has improved his pass blocking.
Exactly, Charlie. Early on in the year, their problem was picking up the linebackers, blitzing, and then also running his routes out of the backfield. Of course, he was trying to replace Joe Cribbs, who was a master at coming out of the backfield.
Second down and 3, 25-yard line. Fake on a pitch to get to the up-back Booker Moore, and Booker will lose a yard. He was met by Ross Browner. It'll be third down and 4.
Ross Browner, number 79, steps to his inside and runs around the block. See some of the action going up with Hunter, 87. He's got his hands full.
There's a lot of action.
See, the people think that the tight ends just run down the field and catch the balls, but they don't see him in their block, and Hunter is a pretty good blocker.
Cincinnati defensively with their dime package, that is 6 men in the secondary. Guarding against the pass, Dufek shotgun formation, third down and 4. Over the middle, it is high, pulled down, Rob Riddick. Riddick first down, 40-yard line. It leans forward close to the 41-yard line. Riddick backing up Greg Bell. He is in there as an extra receiver out of the backfield and passing down.
He's a situation player. This is a little option. He comes out of the backfield and has an option to break to the inside or out. You saw the big opening in the middle. He saw it. Dufek saw it. He knew he was going to the middle, a big first down for the Bills.
A pickup of 17 yards on the play to the 41-yard line. Buffalo in their own territory. The opening drive, they came out throwing. Why did they not stay with that motif?
I think they're mixing it up pretty well, but you can't. You got to get into some things. They might loosen them up a little bit.
The reverse. Mike Mosley, and he's in trouble. Then he throws off of the reverse, and it ends up an exciting incompletion. Buffalo is pulling out every page of the playbook.
Well, I think they're going back and they're seeing what plays they haven't run.
Yeah, I think you're
but
right.
Seriously, Charlie, getting back to what we said, they have nothing to lose. They're going to go out and give it their best shot. They're going to run these plays. Obviously, they've seen something in the film study this week. Kay Stevenson, just to think that these plays will be successful, and they're going to run them.
Second down and 10, Buffalo, 41-yard line. Their own territory, 4 minutes, 20 seconds, time remaining. We're in the first quarter, and the score, Buffalo 7 and Cincinnati 7. On the draw to Bell, and he is wrapped up, but still hit at the 39-yard line, but still manages to salvage a yard to the 40, so it'll be third down and 11. Tim Krumrie was the first man to get to him for the Cincinnati Bengals.
You got to give Krumrie a lot of credit there. You know, he was the high school wrestling champion in Wisconsin, so he kind of knows how to handle a center one-on-one. A little earlier we showed you where Grant handled him on the touchdown run by Greg Bell. This time he got the best of it and made the play in the backfield.
And Tim, you got to tuck that shirt in. Got to look neat.
He's a wrestler. He's not going to look neat.
You're right. Third down, 11. Shotgun formation. Goes deep. Knocked away. Mitchell Brookins, the intended receiver. Lewis Breeden, number 34 for the defense. And that means it will be fourth down and 11 as we take another look.
Brookins, of course, is the speedster. He'll be at the bottom left of your screen coming down. You'll see he has one-on-one coverage. All the other defensive backs are covering them. He has single coverage. Dufek throws it to the right person, just doesn't get it out there quite far enough and close enough to the sideline. But good coverage by Breeden. Good job just to break it up. Breeden had his eyes on intercepting that one.
So John Kidd will be kicking to the number 1 punt returner in the NFL, Mike Martin, off the side of his foot. And that means that John Simmons, who drops back, picks it up and it goes out of bounds. They want to keep that football away from Mike Martin. We've got a timeout, and the score is tied 7-7. 35-yard kick, 6-yard return next weekend. The Georgia Bulldogs, Florida State Seminoles, they'll be playing on NBC in the Florida Citrus Bowl. This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy. 3 minutes, 19 seconds. That is the time remaining. We're in the first quarter in a tie ball game at Riverfront Stadium. Buffalo 7 and Cincinnati 7. Handing off to Charles Alexander. 36-yard line. He picks up 4 yards on the play. And it will be second down and 6. And a Buffalo player is injured. So an injury timeout has been called. In case you joined us late, we'll be talking about this throughout the ball game because a lot of people join the telecast as it goes. A Cincinnati victory and a Pittsburgh loss would mean that Cincinnati is in the playoffs. So we have a lot to be decided today, both here and in Los Angeles. 52, Chris Keating was the injured player.
It looked, Charlie, like he just jammed his neck or jammed his head. He may have got a little pinched nerve or something, but he seems to be all right on the sideline.
And Stan David, the rookie taken in the 7th round of the draft from Texas Tech, replaces him. Second down and 6. Anderson fires. Tip. It is complete to Brooks. Buffalo 49-yard line. Gain of 15. First down. Ryan Carpenter with the tackle.
In motion by Brooks out to the 2 wide receivers. Now that they've established Chris Collinsworth in this ball game, he's already caught a touchdown and 2 passes. Now they're using him a little bit as a decoy. That time everybody went with Collinsworth. Nobody went with Brooks. Good play on first down.
Brooks comes out. Stanford Jennings is in. Mike Martin is in as a wide receiver. First down, Buffalo 49-yard line. The pitch is to Jennings. 40-yard line. Gain of 9. Charles Rose makes the tackle. Second down and 1. Jennings, the rookie out of Furman, taken in the 3rd round of the draft. Many surprised that he was taken that late. They thought that he would go in the 1st round.
Well, he's a good ball player, and he's played more and more as the season has progressed. He was injured a little bit early on, but the Bengals like to throw to their backs, and he is a good receiver.
Larry Kinnebrew comes in, and that is the reaction from the crowd. Brew. Second down and 1. Short yardage specialist. He has scored 9 touchdowns. First down, 35-yard line. Kinnebrew picks up 5. Tim Johnson with the tackle. Buffalo Bills.
It's really amazing to me how much Kinnebrew looks like a man who used to play here, Pete Johnson, and moved on. Big Pete and Little Brew. I don't think he's too little, though. Maybe he is when you put him up next to Pete.
6'1", listed at 252, probably 268, when as high as 281 during the season. And Cincinnati calls for a timeout. So Buffalo and Cincinnati have each taken a timeout here in the 1st quarter. And we have 51 seconds left to go in this period. We're tied 7-7. We'll be back to Riverfront Stadium in just a moment. For the Cincinnati Bengals, M.L. Harris, Rodney Holman, and Don Kern, 3 tight ends are in. Mike Martin is in as a wide receiver, and Larry Kinnebrew is the running back. Ken Anderson, the quarterback. First down, Buffalo 35-yard line. Kinnebrew. And the Brew has 2 to the 33. It'll be second down and 8. Beat who? We got the Brew. Just talked about. They are big. They're both big, large, very large.
We've got another one here, too, Speedy Neal on the Buffalo side.
That's right. Speedy 6'2", listed at 254.
He can sit at the same training table with those two.
Yeah. Second down and 8. Charles Alexander comes in. Kinnebrew comes out. Jennings showing motion. Anderson's pass is complete to Stanford Jennings, and he is dropped in his tracks by Joe Azelby.
Azelby is in for Haslett, who is out for the time being. Number 50, he'll be dropping straight back into his own coverage, as you'll see, looking for anything to happen in front of him. Buffalo playing a lot of zones, trying to take away the deep passes.
The ball is the 28-yard line. A gain of 5. It will be third down and 3 when we come back to start the second quarter. The first is complete, and we're tied at 7. It's a big quarter. Statistics as even as the score. Greg Bell, touchdown, 5 yards out for Buffalo. Anderson to Collinsworth, 12 yards away, tied at 7. Third down and 3, 28-yard line of the Bills. Anderson to throw. Wanted to go deep, throws underneath the covers to Collinsworth. 1 yard line. 27 yards on the play. And Collinsworth is down. Charles Romes, who celebrates his 30th birthday today, saves the touchdown. Collinsworth has been bothered by an ankle injury, but this time he was reaching for his knee.
Well, he was reaching below his knee, Charlie. It looked like his lower leg or his ankle, and it looks like he is in pain, but he was really trying to get to the end zone, just to show you the great effort that he was trying to make, get in there and score the touchdown.
He has 3 receptions, 62 yards total, and he has scored that touchdown from 12 yards out.
Take a look. Buffalo was blitzing, therefore not many people in the center of the field. He catches the ball. Let's see if we can see where he gets messed up. Right there, Rome's 26 comes down on his ankle, it looks like. He's just going to run a little pattern. He's going to let the inside receiver clear right there and then come to the inside, takes the ball and gets upfield. But I think Rome's really rolled over on his ankle. Right there.
Right there. We're tied 7-7, but the Bengals are threatening. We've got a timeout. And we'll be back in just a moment. Collinsworth limping off of the field. Standing ovation, Charles Alexander. Larry Kinnebrew are the running backs. First down goal to go. 1 yard line to break the tie. He does not go in. Fred Smerlis was there to stop him.
Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Minolta, makers of the high-performance program camera X700, only from the minds of Minolta. And by the STP Corporation. On the world's racetracks, on the world's roads, depend on STP, your car care company.
Kinnebrew leaning in, and he leans far enough.
They're excited in Cincinnati about it. That was just great second effort on the part of Kinnebrew, scoring his 9th touchdown of the season.
A 68-yard touchdown drive to put Cincinnati in front of Buffalo. 13-7, extra points still to come. Kenny Anderson has completed 5 of 6, including his last 5 in the row. 83 yards and a touchdown. Jim Breach to attempt the point after. And it is good. And the Bengals break the tie. It is Cincinnati 14, Buffalo 7. And here is Larry Kinnebrew scoring the touchdown with 14:06 left to go in the first half. That left ankle attended to. We just picked up a bit of the conversation, said take a rest.
Doctor right there looking at him said take a rest. Collinsworth may be playing his last game in front of the home fans in Cincinnati.
Jim Breach kicking off. Van Williams, it goes to the back of the end zone, and Buffalo will bring it out to the 20-yard line.
You know, Charlie, Collinsworth is one of the most popular players, not only on the Bengals, but ever to come through Cincinnati. They compare him with Pete Rose in the 60s and Johnny Bench in the 70s, Chris Collinsworth in the 80s, as far as the love relationship that he has in this town with these fans. And this could be his last ball game. He has signed a contract with the USFL and may be going over there. So this may be Collinsworth's last game here in Riverfront Stadium.
And that big play, the 27-yard pass where he was injured at the end of it, placed Collinsworth over the 1,000-yard mark for the season. Now let's see what Buffalo can do. They can get some momentum back. Here's Greg Bell from the 20 to the 25-yard line. Gain of 5. It'll be second down and 5 for the Buffalo Bills. Glenn Cameron, who has been bothered this week with a staph infection of the knee, not even know if he would suit up. He started the ball game. He makes the tackle along with a strong safety, Bobby Kemp.
Really surprised that he's in there too, Charlie. You know, a staph infection usually is pretty serious. Obviously, they have it under control. He was in the hospital the last 2 nights. That happened to me one time. I went in, I had the flu at a Saturday practice, went in, never thought I'd play the ball game. They gave me a little IV, came out the next day and threw 3 touchdowns. I want to do that every Saturday night.
Every Saturday night. I'll go to the hospital, get the IV, and throw for 3. They spot at the 26, so it's second down and 4. And Bell gets the call again. 32-yard line. He picks up 6 in the first down. Tim Kremry and Jeff Shue team up for the Bengal defense.
Bell has really had a great year. We said earlier he's over 1,000 yards. Is an alternate for the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl is voted by the coaches and the players around the league. So when you get that kind of recognition from your peers, you know you must be playing pretty well.
John Simmons replaces Lewis Breeden in the secondary for Cincinnati. First down, Buffalo at their own 32-yard line. Bengals lead 14-7. Swing right side. This is Bell. Bell trying to slip away from John Simmons, who just came into the ball game. And he'll pick up the first down at the 44-yard line. So a gain of 12 yards on the play and a first down for Buffalo. my impression is that Buffalo has more momentum throwing than they do running.
Well, of course, they're going to get more yardage that way. The thing coming into the ball game that Cincinnati was afraid of was Greg Bell, not only as a running but also receiving, because we've said he's not that great a receiver, but on a little swing pass like that, they just get the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and then he can pick up some yardage. But Cincinnati defensively is a very good defense. They've played very good the last 7 or 8 ball games, and this is a tough test for Buffalo.
First down for the Bills, their own 44-yard line, trailing in the ball game 14-7. Dufek has time, throws. Hunter, the tight end, catches it at the 45. Struggles back to that point. John Simmons was there. It ends up as a gain of 1. Glenn Cameron also had a piece of it. It'll be 2nd down and 9 as Washington leading St. Louis in the second quarter by a score of 13-0. Tampa Bay out in front of the Jets 17-0 second quarter. Chicago now in front of Detroit 7-3. New England, Easton on down the road. 10-0. They have the lead. Cleveland by 3 over Houston. You knew I would get that in. Green Bay shutting out Minnesota 17-0. Here it is Cincinnati 14, Buffalo 7. The Bills' record is 2-13, but their 2 wins have come in the last 4 games. The big one was over the Dallas Cowboys. Pass over the middle, complete to Booker Moore. And Glenn Cameron brings him down. They're going to spot the ball at the 50-yard line. Ross Browner was putting the pressure on the quarterback. Gain of 5, 3rd down and 4.
Cameron dropping back into zone, a former #1 draft choice. One of the real leaders on this ball club. They need him in there. Makes a good play on Moore.
I have a report on Chris Collinsworth, a twisted ankle. He will not play anymore in the first half. They will check at halftime to see if he can play in the second half. 6 in the secondary for Cincinnati. 3rd down 4. Dufek against a 4-man rush. Pass is complete. Not enough for the first down. Wakeman caught it, and he was dropped by Bobby Kemp. Ross Browner was trying to put the pressure on Joe Dufek. Byron Franklin pulled it in. It'll be 4th down, and the Bills will be kicking.
Bobby Kemp called the enforcer. All of the defensive backs for the Bengals are good hitters. One of the things they have always been able to do is stick the offensive man when he's in the secondary and try to intimidate him.
Mike Martin is set for the return. John Kidd taken at the 10 to the 20 and has 16 yards on the return. That is above his average, a 38-yard punt. Chris Keating makes the tackle. We've got a timeout with 10:37 left to go in the first half, and Cincinnati leads Buffalo by 7 points. This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy. Steve Kreider has replaced Chris Collinsworth as a wide receiver. That ankle that he is bothered with, that he has injured the ballgame, the same one he's had trouble with the last few weeks. Pass over the middle is complete to the tight end M.L. Harris. And Harris picks up a quick 14 to the 40-yard line and a first down. Jim Haslett makes the tackle. Now, the offense of Cincinnati without Collinsworth, somebody's got to pick up the slack. Will it be the tight end? Will it be Kreider? Or will it be one of the backs coming out of the backfield?
I think you just saw it right there, Charlie. He's going to go to his tight ends. M.L. Harris, the second leading receiver on the team, and then the backs are the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, so you can expect him to go to his inside receivers a lot more.
First down, Cincinnati. Will fake the pitch out and a trap inside. James Brooks from the 40 to the 44-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Cincinnati in their own territory. Darryl Talley is the man who brought him down. As we pause briefly for station identification, this is the NBC television network.
This is WGRZ TV2 Buffalo.
This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy. Just over 9.5 minutes left to go in the first half here at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, and the Bengals are out in front of Buffalo by a score of 14-7. Kenny Anderson blitzes on, drops it off to Brooks, and Brooks picks up the first down. He needed 6, he got 7, and a flag is dropped. The play went to the Buffalo 49-yard line. Charles Rose makes the tackle.
It'll be on 59, David, for handling the quarterback.
Unnecessary roughness on the passer, number 59 on the defense. First down.
Stan David will be coming from the right side of your screen. Hits him up high. I think that's probably what they called, Charlie, hitting up around the helmet, as we'll see the hit there by Romes. But trying to take the aggressiveness away from the quarterback's head and shoulders.
It's all right to hit him, but they want to hit him below the net. So the penalty takes the ball to the 34-yard line. Anderson fires over the middle and is juggled incomplete at the 15-yard line. David Verser, the intended receiver. The pass was a little high, and Rod Cush was there for Buffalo. Prior to that pass, Anderson had hit his last 7 in a row.
Well, he should have hit that one, too. David Verser just dropping the ball on him. David Verser is one of the receivers that needs to come through for the Cincinnati Bengals. They had Collingsworth, as we'll take another look. The ball is thrown over the linebacker, but Verser needs to be able to come into his own. And I think with Sam Weich being here, Sam had been out in San Francisco and really brought along Dwight Clark and Joe Montana. He's a good teacher, and I think Verser is going to come along in his play.
Second down and 10, 34-yard line. Anderson's pass is complete for 30-yard line. Stanford Jennings then picks up 5 more to the 25. Chris Keating is the man who brought him down and is very close to the first down marker. Well, they're going to mark it back, so it'll be 3rd down and still a yard to go for the first down.
Good look at Sam Weich, who is really a smart player. He's a good player. In fact, he was on the Buffalo roster at one time as a quarterback, but he's a very good teacher of wide receivers and a good teacher of quarterbacks, and will do big things here for these young receivers.
And, of course, was a reserve quarterback here in Cincinnati in 1970. First down for the Bengals. In 1970, let me think, 1970, because he's not that old. Cincinnati opened with a record of 1-6, and they made the playoff. And he was the backup quarterback to Virgil Carter. They lost to the Colts, I believe, by a score of 17-0 on December the 26th. 22-yard line. First down. And this year, of course, Cincinnati starts 0-5. Anderson, lots of time, drops it off. Pass is complete to Stanford Jennings. 6-yard line. First down, goal to go. A gain of 16. And officials conference, motion called against the Bengals.
Illegal motion, offense, 2 men moving. First down.
There's a look at Boomer Esiason in the cap and the white hair, but he has the ability. He has the future. The blonde hair.
I have white hair.
Tentative about that blonde and white. He has the ability, and he is the future for this ball club. Right now, Kenny Anderson has the experience, and that's what you're seeing. He is moving this ball club right down the field.
First down, 15. 27-yard line of Buffalo. A little play action fake. Pass is complete. Mike Martin. Martin goes out just shy of the 10-yard line. Darryl Talley was there for the defense, and it'll be a first down.
You're seeing the future right here, the Bengals, in Mike Martin and David Verser. 2 young receivers with Collingsworth going. Isaac Curtis had his better years, I believe, and there's some talk around here that he may retire after this season. So these 2 young receivers, wide receivers of the future for the Cincinnati Bengals.
At the Buffalo 11-yard line, 7.5 minutes left to go, second quarter. Cincinnati leading 14-7. Anderson rolls, throws, passes complete. Coleman diving for the end zone.
Touchdown.
Rodney Holman. That is his first touchdown of the season.
They're doing it with their passing game, Charlie. A lot of first down passes. Sam White on the sideline calling the plays. Chris Collinsworth being put onto the vehicle to be taken into the locker room.
And Jim Breach to attempt the point after. It's good. Cincinnati leading Buffalo now by 14, 21-7. Let's look again, Bob.
Good play action right here. Good throw. Now it's just a matter of attitude. Who wants it more? Cush, 42, is trying to hold him out.
Here it is. Anderson to Rodney Holman. That is Holman's 20th reception of the year. And as I mentioned, his first touchdown of the season. Your friendly Bengal Tiger.
Is that a Bengal Tiger?
You bet. An old one, you can tell from the hair, right?
A white-haired Bengal Tiger.
7 minutes and 24 seconds. That is the time remaining in the second quarter.
It's kind of sad right there, Charlie, because this, like I said, may be the last time for Chris Collinsworth in that uniform in this stadium. Very well liked, very well respected athlete in this town.
One of the most popular athletes in the same vein as Johnny Bench and Pete Rose. Van Williams and Donald Wilson set for the return. It'll be down in the end zone by Donald Wilson. So Buffalo will have the ball at their own 20-yard line, first down.
Charlie, I think this is a crucial time in the ball game for the Bills if they're going to stay in this ball game. At the top of the show, we said one of the key factors for the Bengals was to get an early lead, and that could do bad things, damaging things as we look at the scoring drive to the Bills. This is their last game. They're on the road. They've had a up and down season, a very frustrating season. Some of them could say, well, we're going to lose. We don't have anything to gain by this. The Bengals do. This is really a gut check right now for Kay Stevenson and his team.
Dufek to throw for the Bills. Pass is complete on a comeback pad and almost intercepted. Mitchell Brookins is the man who caught it, but he literally had it taken out of the arms of, I believe it was Ray Horton, and then Bobby Kemp made the tackle.
I think that was Reggie Williams, Charlie, 57, who almost, it looked like he was waiting for the ball to come to him right here. Yeah. And then Brookins comes back. If he hadn't have come back, it would have been an interception. As we see Reggie going to the ground in frustration. Because I had that one. I should have had it.
Joe Dufek has completed 10 of 14, and he has thrown to completed passes to 8 different receivers. He got 95 yards in the air. Last one, a gain of 8, second down and 2. Play action, pass is complete. Coming off of the play action to Greg Bell, and he'll pick up the first down. Reggie Williams makes the tackle. Gain of 6 yards to the 34-yard line. First down for Buffalo. Bills need a big play.
Well, they need a big play or they need a big drive. They need a bunch of medium-sized plays. They need to establish the fact that they're in the ball game, get the momentum back, either by a big play or taking it down and making a good drive.
Buffalo has run 27 offensive plays, and Bell has now 28. And Bell has been involved in 15 of them, either rushing or receiving. This time he goes to the 37-yard line, picks up 3, so it'll be second down and 7. Eddie Edwards, the first man to get to him for Cincinnati. And is Eddie holding his hand?
Left hand.
Gun stepped on. Now he's reaching up for the shoulder. He gets New Orleans. He had 11 tackles, 2 sacks, and a couple of fumble recoveries.
Take a look and see if we can see number 73 making the initial hit. You know, I think it's more his shoulder because I didn't see anything happen to his hand, Charlie. He He's in pain there on the sideline. We'll get a report.
Second down and 7. Cincinnati leading by 14, 21-7. Glenn Collins is checked in the defensive line. Dufek fires. Good pass. First down, 50-yard line to Franklin. And he spins to the 44-yard line in Cincinnati territory. So that may be the big play that Buffalo needed. They picked up a little over 20 yards.
A good throw by Dufek. A good read and a good throw. Got a good, strong arm. I'm impressed with the young man.
The line of scrimmage now, the Cincinnati 44-yard line. That last play good for a total of 19 yards officially. This is only the 5th NFL start for Joe Dufek in his second year out of Yale. Was a free agent with Seattle a year ago and then was cut loose and then picked up as a free agent by Buffalo. And the blitz is on and he is dropped. Reggie Williams got it. First sack for the Cincinnati defense. That is the 9th sack of the year for Reggie Williams.
Reggie Williams is the big play man for the Bengals. From the left side of your screen, 57, 4 short, 73 was responsible to get out there and put the block on him. Just didn't get out there quick enough. Of course, the speed and quickness of Williams was a factor in that sack.
Loss of 7, second down and 17, 6 in the secondary for Cincinnati. Four-man rush. Dufek's pass is complete to Booker Moore. He gets a little of it back. Cincinnati 46-yard line, picks up 5. It'll be third down and 12, and John Simmons makes the tackle for the Bengals. This is not a sellout crowd in Cincinnati. We mention that because we can tie it into the fact that that means that the second half of the doubleheader on NBC, only one game comes into a city, according to the league contract, when a team plays at home. That means that the Pittsburgh Rams game will be seen in Cincinnati. Of course, a big factor as far as Cincinnati is concerned. Should the Bengals win today and they lead by 14 and the Steelers lose to the Raiders, then Cincinnati would be the champion. Dufek, little pushy contest going on at the 29-yard line. The ball pops loose. Mitchell Brookins is the man who made the reception, and now a conference will be held. And they just rule it all incomplete and bring it back. Ray Griffin was there for Cincinnati.
The pass is incomplete. Fourth down.
It goes as an incompletion, 4th down and 12 back at the Cincinnati 46-yard line.
Just good tight coverage on the part of the Bengals. Ray Griffin right there. Brookins made a good effort to come back to the ball. Saw the ball, came back, had it in his hand. Just see him right there. He sees it. I don't know if he ever had control of it. No, I don't think he never did. That's right.
And that brings back Mr. Excitement as John Kidd will be kicking to Mike Martin, the leading punt returner. Well, he's going to stay away from it. His kicks will get further and further away from Mike Martin.
He kicked that ball 10, 15 yards out of bounds.
So the clock is stopped. 3:22 left to go in the first half, and the Bengals lead the Bills by 14 points. Back of the Buffalo Bills, Joe Dufek has completed 13 of 18 for 123 yards. He's looked pretty good.
I'm impressed with him, Charlie. He hasn't made any big mistakes, and he hasn't thrown the ball poorly. He has put the ball on the money most of the time, and it's not his fault that they're not scoring points.
And the weather continues to get even nicer here in Cincinnati. As you can see, the sun is out. Temperature now in the 70s. It is a gorgeous day.
Well, it's a big surprise. In talking with Kenny Anderson earlier, he said 2 weeks ago they played the Seahawks in the freezing rain. He'll take anything above 40.
Anderson, a little wobbly pass. It is incomplete at the 22-yard line. Charles Alexander, the intended receiver. I had the impression that there's a study in concentration. He wanted to go deep and then changed his mind almost midway of the throw and tried to pull it down short.
Well, he's been doing that all day, Charlie, and that's what I was alluding to a little bit earlier when I said Esiason has the ability, a lot of the skills that Kenny has lost some maybe, but Kenny has the experience. He reads deep to throw the ball deep down the field. If that's not open, he'll come back and dump it off short. Esiason may have to learn that yet.
2nd and 10, 19-yard line, Cincinnati in their own territory. Charles Alexander. May give him a yard to the 20, but that'll be all. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Ken Johnson was there to stop Charles Alexander. Now, Buffalo, their last offensive possession, got a little offense going, but then they were stopped. They were stopped by the sack, turned in by Reggie Williams. Now, turn it around. If Buffalo can stop Cincinnati here, they can come up with pretty good field position.
Well, Buffalo's defense needs to step forward here and stop them because the last 2 drives, Cincinnati has scored.
3rd down and 9. Then Williams jumps offside. Pass is complete for the 1st down to the 30-yard line. So the Bengals will turn down the penalty. And the 1st down will stand. We'll take another look at it. Mike Martin pulled it in.
Number 77 right there, jumps offside. I can't tell you what that does to the confidence of not only the quarterback, but the offensive receivers when he sees that going on. Because he knows he gets a free play. Just relax and complete the pass.
Defense, number 77. A penalty will be declined. It's 1st down.
Injury report on Tim Haslett of the Buffalo Bills has a hip pointer, and he is out for the day. 1st down, Cincinnati, their own 30-yard line. Anderson just drops this one off to Holman. Holman, the tight end, stepping back as a little safety now. 33-yard line, it'll be 2nd down and 7. Darryl Talley with the tackle. Had the feeling that they wanted it to be a screen, but it didn't look like a screen.
It was a screen. It was one of those option screens where the quarterback has the option to throw the ball to the wide receiver downfield or dump it to his tight end or his back out in the flat, and one offensive or 2 offensive linemen will slip out there to help him.
21-7, that is the score. Cincinnati out in front. The 2-minute warning now being given to both benches here in Riverfront Stadium.
Collinsworth and some of the other people that are banged up an opportunity to get well.
And they would then be playing in 2 weeks at Denver. And by the way, congratulations to the Denver Broncos defeating Seattle in the Kingdom. Tough assignment.
I was very impressed watching that ball game, how well they played. And John Elway has come a long way in a year and a half. And, of course, Dan Reeves has done a good job with him.
The whole ball club played well. Kind of sad from a personal note, though, because we thought we might be in Denver for the wild card. We were looking forward to that. But they kind of messed that up for us. They're taking the week off. They've got the championship, so we'll have Seattle and the Raiders. Sight to be decided. Pass is complete. Steve Kreider. 1st down. Eugene Meyer with the tackle.
And the Bengals offense is hitting on all cylinders, and they're getting the protection as they are. Anderson can sit back there and just pick him apart. This was probably the 4th or 5th receiver he had an option to throw the ball to. Coverage was downfield, and he just dumps it off.
The ball just outside the 10-yard line. 1st down and 10. This is the 10th play of the drive coming up. Started back at the 19-yard line. This is fired. Touchdown, Bengals. Steve Kreider, and that is Steve's 1st touchdown of the season. And Anderson has thrown for 3. to 7 Cincinnati. Here comes the extra point. 38 seconds left to go in the 1st half. Kreider to hold. Jim Breach to attempt. He's got it. 28 to 7. Kenny Anderson has now completed of 20, 206 yards in the first half and 3 touchdowns.
Not a bad day, let alone one half. You see 42 Cush at the bottom faking the blitz. Little slant pattern, just down a few steps and slants to the inside. Catches the ball in the end zone for a touchdown. Take another look as Kenny fakes the play, turns around. The dangerous thing about turning your eyes away from the secondary is you can't see the linebacker sometimes when you come back. Maybe your vision is blocked, but Kenny's been doing it so long, he knows where they are.
Beginning of the telecast, you said the key for Cincinnati was an early lead. Well, they've got that. And the key for Buffalo would be motivation. They had it on their opening drive when they moved 77 yards in 11 plays to score their only 7 points to go up 7-0. But that's been it.
They didn't sustain it. They had the motivation coming out, and then Cincinnati says, wait a minute, we're down 7-0. And I think Cincinnati has done exactly what they want to. They've come out, they've put some points on the board. Now, on the other side of the field, the Bills, who've had a very frustrating long season, need to regroup and get their act together.
And Cincinnati, their last 4 possessions have ended in 7 points. Jim Breach will be kicking off to either Van Williams, Donald Wilson, or to be down in the end zone. He's really kicking well today. Van Williams, he'll run this one out. To the 10, hands to the 15 to 20. Nice little move, goes out of bounds at 25-yard line. So he has 27 yards on the return. And John Simmons out of SMU was there for Cincinnati. 31 seconds left to go first half.
You know, Charlie, some other people are watching this game with great interest, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're probably out warming up, getting ready to play the Raiders at this point. But
got small television sets with us.
I guarantee you, okay, from having been there a few times, there's someone with a TV set in the training room or the shower or somewhere. Of course, the showers aren't on, but they just want to make sure they know how the game's going.
Question. How does that word always get around? It seems like you know immediately after every score.
The equipment man or the assistant trainer, one of the assistant coaches, maybe the PR man, they all know. Somebody get word to him.
Dufek throws deep into coverage, knocked away. Good defensive play. Mitchell Brookins, the intended receiver, and Ray Griffin knocked it down. Flag was dropped. And the conference is being held. Clock is stopped with 26 seconds left to go. Chuck Eberling is the referee.
Pass interference, number 81, offense.
Offensive pass interference.
Probably a good play by Brookins, Charlie, because from what I saw at the end of the play, it looked as though Griffin had a good opportunity to intercept it.
You're right, he did. Because Ray Griffin had position on it. So the penalty takes the ball back to the 16-yard line, and the down goes over. It'll be first down and 20 with 26 seconds left to go in the first half. In the secondary for Cincinnati. The goal was a 4-man rush. Dufek goes deep, and it is incomplete. He was going to Preston Denard. Jackson and Simmons picked up the cover.
That was an opportunity, Charlie, for him to take a little bit more time. Joe Dufek, not having had a lot of playing time, he could have taken a little bit more time because he had the time. I think we have a holding penalty, and that may be why he had as much time as he did. But he threw the ball a little bit too soon. He didn't have to throw it as soon. He could have given the receiver a little bit more time to get open.
And with 20 seconds left to go in the first half, they'll take the penalty.
Use of hands. Number 72 on the offense. First down.
Buffalo is going to use all of their downs. So Cincinnati on any penalty type situation would take the penalty, keep pushing them back. split the distance to the 8-yard line from the 16.
Holding was on number 72, Ken Jones, and that is one of the problems that the Bills have had this year. A great amount of penalties, a lot of holding penalties, and it seems as though for the Bills they've come at the wrong times. When a big play has been made, really sets them back.
Buffalo has been penalized 50 yards in the first half, 6 times for 50. Cincinnati 4 for 20. Greg Bell, the ball carrier. The clock continues to run, so Buffalo may just decide with its first down and 28 that you might as well let the clock wind its way to halftime. The ovation by the fans here in Riverfront Stadium for the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati leading by a score of 28-7. And they've been very impressive in the first half.
They have, Charlie. I think the only negative as far as the Bengals are concerned is the loss of Chris Collinsworth. He came out, he was playing very well. They were getting him the ball, and then he hurts the same ankle that he had coming into the ball game. It's a setback for him, but like we said, if they win this ball game, it's 2 weeks to the next ball game.
And Kenny Anderson with a hot hand for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's halftime. The score, Cincinnati 28 and Buffalo 7.
We welcome those of you watching the Buffalo-Cincinnati game to our halftime show. Bob Costas along with Bill McAtee. Let's check the scoreboard. A game of great importance today at RFK Stadium in the nation's capital. The winner is the champion of the NFC East. If the Redskins are the losers, however, at least they get a wild card. If the Cardinals are defeated today, they are out of the playoff picture. And as they come up to halftime, St. Louis's circumstances do not look good. It's 23-7 in favor of the Redskins. Joe Theismann has twice hit Art Monk with touchdown passes. Monk has 5 receptions in the half and even 100 for the season. The Pro Football record is 101 by Charlie Hennigan of the Houston Oilers back in the old AFL. Now, in the game you're watching, it looks like Sam Wyche's team will, in fact, put the pressure on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wyche and company came in today knowing if they beat Buffalo, then Pittsburgh would have to win at Los Angeles in order to keep them out of the playoff picture. It didn't start well for the Bengals. The game's first drive, capped by this 5-yard Greg Bell touchdown run, the rookie from Notre Dame gives Buffalo a brief 7-0 lead. But back comes Cincinnati. Buffalo punting out of their own end zone, and Mike Martin will return it 33 yards deep into Buffalo territory. In the process, umpire Gordon Wells will be wiped out. Martin collides with him, and then a Buffalo defender also smacks Wells. Down he goes. Fortunately, he wasn't seriously hurt, and he was able to continue. From that point on the field, the Bengals took it in on this 12-yarder from Ken Anderson to Chris Collinsworth to tie it up at 7. Collinsworth was a key man in the first half. This reception went for 27 yards down to the 1. And it set up a 1-yard Larry Kinnebrew touchdown run, which gave the Bengals a 14-7 lead. Collinsworth eventually departed with a twisted ankle. We don't know yet if he will play in the second half. Anderson threw 2 more touchdown passes, giving him 3 for the half, and a 28-7 lead for Cincinnati over Buffalo at Riverfront Stadium. Tampa Bay leads the Jets 17-7 in John McKay's swan song as the Buccaneers head coach. And it's an interesting situation. McKay's team, if they win today, will finish the year 6-2 at home, 0-8 on the road. This TD pass from Steve DeBerg to Jerry Bell, a 3-yarder, gave them a 17-0 lead. The Jets scored on a Ken O'Brien touchdown pass late in the half to close it up to 17-7. But if this score holds up, the Jets will finish the year as losers of 7 of their last 8 after opening at 6-2. Chicago playing at Detroit. The Bears lead at 14-6 at halftime. Greg Landry is at quarterback for the Bears, and he scored one of their touchdowns on a 1-yard run. But the Bears, Bill, know that the outcome of this game doesn't affect their playoff situation. They're in the playoffs, they get a first-round bye, but they play on the road 2 weeks from now against either San Francisco or the NFC East champion, regardless of what happens today.
And you mentioned the Jets. There also has to be a little bit of concern in New England. The Patriots, once 8-4, have lost their last 3 in a row, but they lead the 4-11 Colts by a score of 13-0. Colts today, of course, playing under Hal Hunter, the offensive line coach, who takes over for Frank Kush. The only touchdown of the first half was set up by the bounce of the football. Camarillo's punt goes inside the 5. It is hit there by Gary Padgett of the Colts, recovered by the Patriots' Ed Williams. That set up a 3-yard touchdown pass from Tony Eason to Lynn Dawson. It is 13-0. Cleveland and Houston. For the first time this year, the Oilers were the favorites, but they trail now at the half after the Browns led 10-0. Larry Moriarty scored from the 4 to close it to 10-7. Green Bay and Minnesota, the Packers have won 6 of 7, look strong since the midway point of the season. They are putting it on the Vikings. Lynn Dickey has scored 3 times, at least been involved in 3 touchdowns, thrown 2, and scored another on the ground. We want to turn for a moment to the Davis Cup final, the United States versus Sweden. There were those who felt that Sweden had a very real opportunity to upset the U.S. The first match of the day, Mats Wilander, ranked number 4 in the world, beat number 2 Jimmy Connors, won 3-3. And just moments ago, John McEnroe, who is still troubled by that wrist injury, was beaten by Heinrich Sundstrom, 13-11, because there is no tiebreaker in the Davis Cup, 6-4 and 6-3. So the United States now trails 2-0. Robert?
Bill, let's go back to that Viking game, trailing 31-0 to Green Bay at halftime. On the pregame show, Pete Axthelm gave the Viking defense his Run for the Bus award. And the Vikes evidently are intent on proving Axe's point as they squander what remains of their season, trailing 31-0 at the half. Back after this from your local stations. Coming up in the second half of our doubleheader, a game the Pittsburgh Steelers might have to win in order to qualify for the playoffs. If Cincinnati beats Buffalo, the Steelers' backs will be to the wall. Here's a preview. Most of the country will see the Steelers-Raiders game from the Coliseum in L.A. The Steelers have dropped 3 of their last 5, but they are capable of playing very well at times. As a matter of fact, they handed San Francisco their only defeat in a 15-1 season. But quarterback Mark Malone knows that he, his receivers, and everybody else on the club will have to be at their best if they're to pull it off today.
The receiver's going to have to run very good routes. I'm going to have to throw the ball very well. We're going to have to get protection. It's going to be a combination and a culmination of everybody having a great day in order to, you know, defeat a football team like L.A. And I think we're capable of doing that.
Those receivers will run their routes against the league's best secondary with Lester Hayes and this man, Mike Haynes. On the offensive side of the coin, Marcus Allen leads the NFL in total touchdowns. The Raiders have won 4 in a row as they round into playoff form. Okay, Ahmad, a few weeks ago when the Raiders played the Dolphins, we talked about Hayes and Haynes covering Duper and Clayton. Today it's Lips and Stallworth. Interesting.
It is a lot of challenges for these guys, Mike Haynes and Lester Hayes. The worst thing that ever happened to Lester Hayes is they got Mike Haynes. Now everybody throws the ball on him. But in being around Lips and Stallworth all week, these guys are excited against going against the Raiders, which makes no sense to me because if I was them, I'd rather be playing Houston going into the playoffs.
You're thinking expedience rather than romance. Forget the challenge. Just get me to the playoffs any way I can.
That's right. Let me sit at home and watch them play against Duper and Clayton.
All right, let's turn over to Axe here. Until yesterday, it appeared that the Raiders might not have any practical incentive in the game. But now they do, because since the Seahawks lost to Denver, the Raiders know that they can host that wild card game next week against Seattle if they win today.
Bob, I'm glad at the late stage of this very complex weekend, you're still very much on top of the playoff possibilities.
Thank you so very much.
As far as the Raiders are concerned, they will try hard today. I expect them to beat Pittsburgh handily. But even if they didn't need this game for the home field, I feel that Al Davis and Coach Tom Flores have them peaking, have people getting back at the right time, and they want to roll into these playoffs off the 4 straight victories. I don't really think it even matters as much about the home field. It's just about they're the bully on the block again, and they're having fun.
You want to tease us with a pick, or does that have to wait till later?
I think we'll just tease you and make you wait while you work out the rest of the playoff possibilities.
Now, the suspense is probably more than the nation can bear, but in any event, we'll be back as NFL 84 halftime activities continue in just a moment.
This is Charlie Jones and Bob Greasy back at Riverfront Stadium. Halftime, Cincinnati leading Buffalo 28-7. Let's go back to the keys to the game.
Well, for Buffalo, it was motivation, and certainly they came out motivated when they took the ball right down the field and scored. But then Cincinnati said, enough of this. We want to get out there. We want to score early. That is what they have done. They have a big lead, 28-0. 28-7. And now they're thinking, we can come out the second half, and Buffalo may quit. Now, what Buffalo has to do, I think they have to come out and put more pressure on Kenny Anderson. He is set back there, and he's really tore him apart.
All right, now let's go to your quarterback quote that you talked about at the top of the game, and it seems to be holding up so far.
Well, I think they got to win this ball game, obviously. The Raiders are going to help them, they hope, by beating the Steelers, and if that happens, they'll win and wait, and they'll be in the playoffs.
Now, this game's not over, obviously. We got a second half to play. Can Buffalo get back in the ballgame?
Well, I think they can. I think they have to blitz and pressure Kenny Anderson, and offensively, they have to continue doing what they're doing, but just make some plays. They have not converted on enough third down situations to convert them into first downs.
Very quickly, is there a chance that Cincinnati might let down?
I don't think so. I think they're going to go right on out.
So Cincinnati with a big lead at halftime, and we'll be back with the second half after these messages and a word from your local station.
WGRZ TV2 Buffalo.
In the first half, the score was tied 7-7. And at this point, Ken Anderson completed the following pass to Chris Collinsworth. Picked up 27 yards on the play to the 1-yard line.
You watch his left ankle. That's the one that was injured coming into the ball game. Carlos Romes, number 26, is going to fall on it right there. And I doubt very seriously if we'll see any more of Collinsworth the rest of the ball game.
From the 1-yard line, Cincinnati went in to score. Larry Kennebrew scoring his 10th touchdown of the year, and that put Cincinnati on top 14-7. Anderson, prior to that, had thrown a touchdown pass to Collinsworth, followed that touchdown with touchdown pass to Holman and then to Kreider. As we look at the statistics of the first half, weighed heavily on the side of the Cincinnati Bengals.
There's no turnovers. Both quarterbacks have thrown the ball pretty accurately and no fumble turnovers, but Anderson is making the most of it. Dufek has played well, but his supporting cast has not done for him what Kenny Anderson's has done for Kenny.
And I think the experience factor was very visible in the second quarter.
Well, that's the thing. That's why Kenny Anderson in there. When he is going well and when he has the time to throw the football, I don't think there's any better around.
Chuck Nelson kicking off. Martin and Jennings are deep. Here's Martin from the goal line. 15, 20, 30, 40, 42-yard line, and 42 yards on the return. Ryan Carpenter saves a touchdown.
Charlie, so much of special teams is attitude. Do you want to get down there and make the play? And I think it's been a long, frustrating season, and there's just too many Buffalo Bills that aren't getting around the football. Martin is one of the better return men in the league.
Here's James Brush. And the Bengals come out smoking. Ryan Carpenter again for Buffalo. First down. Mark the ball at the Buffalo 44-yard line. So Cincinnati, they want to put the Bills away very quickly here in the third quarter.
Well, if we take a look at the possession, Cincinnati scoring on 4 of 5 drives. In the last 4, they've scored touchdowns, and they were 9, 8, and 10 plays the last 3 drives, so they controlled the ball as well as scored points with it.
Buffalo 44-yard line, first down. Yards in the last play. Here's James Brush. Looks to the 37-yard line. He picks up 7. Second and 3. Ryan Carpenter again with the tackle. And by the way, congratulations to Ken Anderson's school, college. I was searching for a word.
Augustana,
Illinois. The NCAA Division III champions last 2 years in a row. They won it this year. Have a win streak of 24 straight. His alma mater. That's what I couldn't think.
All right.
Alma mater. Way to go, August Harris. 2nd and 3. Charles Alexander. First down, 33-yard line. Needed 3, got 4. Chris Keating with the tackle. Cincinnati going for the knockout here.
Well, I'm sure that Sam White's talked about it in the locker room. Let's go out and keep the momentum. Don't let Buffalo get back into this ball game. They've got them on the ropes, 28-7. If we can take the opening drive and go down and score, it's going to deflate any kind of motivation that Buffalo may have got coming out the second half.
First down, Buffalo 33-yard line. Alexander. 4 yards to the 29. Chris Keating with the tackle. Gain of 4, 2nd down and 6. And Joe Ferguson loosening up on the sideline. Preston Denard is there with him.
Be interesting to see if Joe's going to come in the second half. I don't think Dufek has played that poorly, but maybe he wants to see what maybe Joe Ferguson can do for the Bills, what Kenny Anderson has done for the Bengals as far as the experience is concerned.
Well, Matt Kofler is also loosening up at the opposite end of Joe Ferguson, 15 yards away. So I don't know, Ferguson may be loosening him up. I'm not sure. We'll wait and see what's going to happen. Here's James Bruck. 24-yard line. He'll pick up a 5 yards on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Rod Cush, the free safety, is the man who stopped the offensive thrust of Cincinnati. And that means, of course, that Larry Kennebrew will come in the short yardage situation. Officials have stopped the clock as Ken Johnson went to the sidelines as an injured player for the Buffalo Bills.
It was Matt Kofler, number 10. It's hard for me to tell which one is warming up in earnest, seriously, and which one is just playing catch.
James Brooks, the leading rusher for Cincinnati, 34 yards and 5 carries. The Bengals basically an air attack. Kennebrew picks up the first down. 5 yards to the 19. Darryl Talley with the tackle.
Charlie, there's a good battle going on inside there in the trenches with Dave Remington, the #1 draft choice last year of the Bengals, and Fred Smerlas, the 3-time Pro Bowler who didn't make it this year and was a little bit upset. But when you play on a team that hasn't done very well, only won 2 ball games, sometimes that happens.
Fishers are going to mark the ball at the 20, and here comes Charles Alexander. 8 yards, 12-yard line, 2nd down and 2.
76 is Smerlas as he jumps around. The guard blocks him. Good blocking by the offensive line. Good team blocking. You have to be a unit in that offensive line. 3 #1 draft choices. Munoz, Blados, and Remington right there together, all doing a good job.
Cincinnati not at all looking like a team that opened the season 0-5. Fake on a handoff, pitch out to Brooks. Good defensive play. Darryl Talley was there.
Charlie, it's not how you play at the start of the season. It's how you play at the end of the season. Which team gets hot near the playoffs or into the playoffs. Here you'll see the 5 losses on the left side of your screen. The L's lost the first 5 ball games and then won 7 of their next 10. They're a hot football team right now.
Going for their 4th in a row. Who would have thought, though, when they opened 0-5, they'd have even a shot at it when they came down to this part of the season?
Well, obviously they wouldn't have had a shot at it had not Pittsburgh come back to them. Pittsburgh started off pretty well, but the whole division has been off this year.
3rd down and 8. Anderson releasing the pass. It is incomplete just as Kenny was dropped. Brooks, the intended receiver. So it will be 4th down and 8. Let's watch from ground level the pressure put on Ken Anderson.
Good look at Kenny Anderson as he's looking with those eyes. He is keying certain men down there in that secondary. He says, I'm not going to throw to the left because that didn't look too good. Now the coverage is there. He's got to get rid of the ball as Cush, 42, on a safety blitz, gets there just before he releases it.
An attempt of 36 yards by Jim Breach. Ryder to hold. He's got it. And Cincinnati stretches it out. The Bengals lead 31-7. We'll be back with a kickoff in just a moment. This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy, Jim Breach of Cincinnati, kicking off either Donald Wilson or Van Williams. Taken to the 1-yard line by Van Williams of the Buffalo Bills. Hit at the 16 and then just kind of spins his way out of bounds around the 21-yard line. The starting quarterback was Joe Dufek, and he is on the sideline. Number 10 is Matt Kofler, and that, of course, means that Joe Ferguson, the 12-year veteran, the Razorback, out of the University of Arkansas, is in at the start of the second half, his first appearance in the ballgame. Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised, Charlie. I think he's going to, Kay is putting him in there to see what he can generate for this offense and this team. If nothing happens, I suspect maybe later on he'll bring another young quarterback, but he's still trying to win this football game with a veteran quarterback.
Ferguson with pressure, steps out, he'll scramble. Couldn't make up his mind whether to slide inside or outside. He was looking at Bobby Kemp. Then he said, I'll just drop it here at the 29-yard line. But he scrambles for 8. It'll be second down and a couple. The experience of a veteran in this situation, possibly better able to read what the defense is doing. Maybe can do what Ken Anderson is doing. Pick your receivers. Obviously, they're going to be throwing. And find some openings, get something going.
And he's been on the sideline the entire first half, so he has seen the charts, even the tendencies. So he knows what they're liking to do. And he went in at halftime, coming out now he's fresh. He should have a good idea of what he wants to get done.
Second down and 2. Little play action, frees the linebacker, pass is dropped. Look for more. He's third down and 2. In the first half, Buffalo took the opening drive. They moved 77 yards in 11 plays. Greg Bell scoring from 5 yards out for his 7th touchdown of the season. And since then, we haven't gone very far.
Well, they've made some first downs, 6 plays, and 7 plays. But the results have been the same. They had to punt each time. That look on Ferguson's eyes was kind of reminiscent of something that I used to do. You put the ball right in his hand, and it's easy. All he has to do is catch it.
I've done the hard part. I got it there.
Yeah.
Third down and 2. Incomplete. Brookins, the intended receiver. Ray Griffin was there.
It's been a tough year for Ferguson. He has played well at times, but other times he's had some injuries, and it's been a combination of things. It's not on anybody, one person. If you're going 2-13, that's for sure.
Mike Martin, leading punt returner, 24-yard average in this game. Oh, good punt by John Kidd. Martin chases it back to the 50, goes down to the 10, slips the tackle. Back to the 20, 30, 40. Oh, more.
He had one man to beat. He broke the tackle. Look at the tackling by the Buffalo Bills. He is heading straight north. The last man, John Kidd, gets just a piece of him to bring him down. You think these fans aren't into this game and this team and the excitement this city has after that 0-5 start as Kidd brings him down?
55-yard kick, 32 yards on the return. Later on today, Pittsburgh at the Raiders. If the Raiders win, Pittsburgh loses. That means that Cincinnati's in the playoff. That means also then the next step is that they would be playing at Denver against Denver. What are their chances?
Against Denver, yeah. I think their chances are pretty good because they have that momentum going. And I think if they can keep it going the rest of this ball game, they're going to be in good shape.
There was inadvertent tripping. The intended receiver was Kreider, and it is incomplete. Now, you mentioned an interesting point because what does Cincinnati have to play for from this point on? And that is a momentum to carry them 2 weeks.
Well, I think they've played very well. They've had the ball 6 possessions. They've scored 5 times, 4 touchdowns, and 1 field goal. I think what they need to do is just keep this feeling going. They don't want to get anybody injured, obviously, and go to Denver and play as well. They'll be 8-3 after this ball game if they finish out and win it.
Kennebrew. That's a surprise, carrying on 2nd and 10. He usually carries when it's 3rd down and 1. 45-yard line of Buffalo.
To get back to that point, Charlie, they'll be 8-3 in their last 11 ball games, and I think the key to the playoffs is who is hot in the playoffs. It's not who wins the first half of the season, but who is hot when the playoffs come. Miami was very hot early on. Now they're kind of having some problems, and the Raiders lost 3 games in a row in the middle of the season. Now they're coming on strong. And I think you'll have to think back a few years ago to the Raiders got in the playoffs as the wild card and then got very hot and won the Super Bowl.
Anderson to throw. Pass is complete. And then the ball goes loose. He may not have held it. Let's see. Are they going to rule it complete and then out of bounds on the fumble? Kreider had it. The fumble goes back out near the line of scrimmage. You'll end up about a yard on the play. Lawrence Johnson was there from the defense. So we 4th down and 3. Now, let me make a point. Because we are doing this game, we get involved in what Cincinnati is doing and where Cincinnati is going. For our viewers who are Pittsburgh Steelers fans, do not take an affront of the fact that we say if Pittsburgh loses to the Raiders, because we are addressing ourselves to what Cincinnati is doing. The announcers, Jay Randolph and John Brody, who will be doing the second half of the doubleheader, and that is the Steelers-Raiders game, they'll be addressing that fact. We're not, putting the Steelers down. They can defeat the Raiders. They defeated the 49ers in San Francisco. But again, going back to what you were talking about, the Steelers have been struggling of late.
Number 74, a penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
It's a good point, Charlie. And the Steelers, by no stretch of the imagination, are out of this. No. They have a ball game to play. It's a tough ball game. We all know that. But they can still go out there and win the ball game. Cincinnati is doing all they can do. And Pittsburgh will have their opportunity after this ball game.
And if the Steelers do win, they are the champions. How would they stack up against the Denver Broncos?
I think they would be very well. Both teams, Cincinnati is playing very well. They've got the momentum, but Pittsburgh has played well in spots. And you never know what can happen once you get into the playoffs.
Pat McInally will be kicking to Donald Wilson. He goes for the corner, gets the roll. When you're hot, you're hot. 8-yard line. Everything is working today for the Bengals. 31-7. Cincinnati leads a 37-yard kick. We'll be back. He's been sick over the last 2 or 3 days. He's his street clothes. There he is. Takes up the whole street. Got a couple other reports for you, but first, this play for Buffalo from their own 8-yard line. Ferguson, a swing pass to Greg Bell. And Bell goes out of bounds at the 13-yard line, so he picks a 5, 2nd down and 5. Ken Johnson, defensive end for Buffalo, pinched nerve. He is out of the ball game. And a report on Chris Collinsworth of the Cincinnati Bengals. The X-rays negative. He will not play the rest of the ball game. He is in the locker room with ice on that ankle. But a win, if Cincinnati goes on, then he's got 2 weeks to get well. So that's a little bit of good news for the Bengals. Second and 5. Ferguson fires, and it is intercepted at the 20-yard line.
offense that much, and he said when Dufek was playing, he was a lot happier about Dufek playing because it looked like he took it away from him.
Took it away from him. He did.
The ball was right there on his numbers, and he took it away from him.
He fumbles, and Buffalo has the football. So back-to-back turnovers. Eugene Marv, leading tackler for the Bills, recovers the fumble.
Turnabout is fair play, as they say. Marv has really had a good year as we look at Sam White. Still, Eugene Marv has played well for the Bills for down through the years. Doesn't get a lot of recognition. The leading tackler, as we take another look, see if we see the ball comes out much before he hits the ground. Marv, number 54, is right on top of it.
Buffalo has it back, first down at their 14-yard line. Ball was at the 13 when he threw the interception, so with the exchange, he picked up a total of a yard. Here's the draw, Greg Bell. Bell is pulled down at the 15. 8 and 1, 2nd and 9. Jeff Shue wrapped him up.
Getting back to what I was saying about Tony Hunter, Charlie, he's been injured some this year, and he just gotten back off of that a few games ago, and really wasn't that much into the offense. And then the quarterback change was made in Dufek, and Hunter came out with some remarks that he felt like he was more a part of the offense with Dufek than he was with Joe Ferguson. Sometimes a quarterback will get in a system where he'll just look for certain people, and obviously you're going to throw to the ones that are open.
Greg Bell, 14 carries, 51 yards rushing, 1,093 on the year. Pass is complete to Booker Moore, 19-yard line. Gain of 4, 3rd down and 5. Ron Simpkins with the tackle. Cincinnati taking anything deep away from the Bills. Let's check the scoreboard. Washington 13 in front of St. Louis, 3rd quarter in that ball game. Tampa Bay leading the Jets 20-7. Chicago 14, Detroit 6. New England by 3 over Indianapolis Colts. You're coming back in that one. Cleveland 17, Houston 10. Green Bay way out in front of Minnesota, 38-7. And here it is Cincinnati 31, Buffalo 7. 5 minutes and 9 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. Ferguson's pass complete. All alone was Julius Dawkins, and Dawkins has the first down at the 27-yard line. Gain of 8 yards on the play. Ray Horton and James Griffin with the tackle.
Julius was a little upset there. He didn't get any more yardage, but he got a first down and an opportunity to get some more.
First things first, they needed it, 3rd and 5. Don't forget, second half of the doubleheader. Some of you to see that game we've been talking about, Pittsburgh and the Raiders, and some of you will be seeing Kansas City against the San Diego Chargers. Kansas City's been a spoiler the last 2 weeks.
They've beaten both Seattle and Denver.
They both had Kansas City in a strong vote in the championship of the West. Ferguson's pass is complete. Booker Moore coming out of the backfield. 33-yard line, gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Ray Horton and Ron Simpkins for the defense.
It's really interesting that Booker Moore, as we look at Boomer Esiason with Turk Schonert, that Booker Moore is used, he is so big, such a big fullback, but is used more as a receiver out of the backfield than he is a runner. If they want to run the football, they give it to Greg Bell, and Booker is more of a blocker. You don't normally see that many big men as good receivers out of the backfield.
And the way of the pro football fullback is almost going away. Come back to that point. 2nd down and 4. Ferguson throws, pass is complete, first down, going to Rob Riddick on the far sideline. Reggie Williams was there for the defense, a gain of 7 to the 40, and it's first down. But with throwing to the backs coming out, with the 3-man line, 4 linebackers putting pressure on, and the 1-back offense, you're getting away from the classic fullback mode that they still have in most colleges. But you don't have it in the pros so much. Good blocker, they're using the tight end or the H-back.
Well, all the personnel is changing, Charlie. Normally a nose tackle is about 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", weighs about 250 or 60. That man couldn't have played in a 4-3 line. It'd be too small.
They marked the ball at the 41-yard line. First down, Buffalo. Ferguson goes to Tony Hunter. And Hunter has a big first down. Still on his feet inside the 40. Fights his way to the 38-yard line. 23 yards on the play. Cincinnati territory. Ferguson has now completed 6 of 9 passes. Robert Jackson and Ray Horton make the tackle at the 38-yard line of the Bengals.
Bengals are on a blitz. You'll see the linebackers coming. Ferguson reads it, gets it to his hot receiver, something that the experienced Ferguson may be able to see a little bit better than Dufek. And then Tony Hunter makes good moves, just getting some extra yardage.
Hunter last week against the Jets, his biggest day in the pros with 7 receptions. First down at the Cincinnati 38-yard line. Ferguson's pass on target, 19-yard line. Mitchell Booker appears to are you going to mark him out of bounds? Ray Horton hit it. And what the official is saying, that if he comes down and he wasn't cut, he would have come down out of bounds.
Still has to come down with the ball out of bounds. His feet or his back in that case. Let's take another look. He still has to hit something on the ground and have the ball.
That's right.
And he never had the football.
So he never had possession.
Exactly.
Bring it back to the good call quarterback. Well, you know when your receivers were catching it or not. You know all those receiving rules, don't
I'm good on the replay.
Second down and 10. 38-yard line of Cincinnati.
Here they come again.
Pressure barely gets it off. Almost intercepted. Robert Jackson almost pulled it down, and Ferguson was dropped, and a flag is dropped. And the penalty will be against the Bills. Illegal use of the hand.
They were blitzing again, Charlie, sending all their linebackers, which means single coverage in the secondary. If you can block them up front, you can usually get some big business done downfield, but that time the rush got there before he got the ball off.
Tim Krumrie and Ross Browner are getting to Joe Ferguson just as he released the ball. And that catches you in that awkward situation where you have that arm up and that whole rib cage is open.
Illegal use of hands, number 73 on offense. Second down.
John Borchardt, his man called for holding, 73, but you'll see there, as you said, Charlie, his arm was up.
And Ross Browner, I think he caught him with his hand, didn't he? Oh, that can hurt.
Stunt inside, the linebackers crossing. That's when it's not fun to play anymore. People say, do you miss playing quarterback? And I said, no, I don't. The only time I miss it is when I've got an open receiver 30 yards downfield and all kinds of time to throw. Now that's when I don't miss it right there.
The penalty takes the ball to the 48-yard line. The down goes over. It'll be second down and 20. In penalties, Buffalo 7 times for 60. Cincinnati 4 for 20. Bengals will go now with a 4-man rush, 6 in the secondary.
It's interesting. They were starting to pressure Ferguson when he's in there. Let's see if they continue it with Dufek.
Now, one of the reasons that Dufek is in, if Ferguson stayed in, it would cost a timeout. He just changed in one play and goes down. That's offensive pass interference. The way that you look at it, Bobby Kemp was the man who was brought down by Mr. Brooker, is that the defender in the secondary is same as another receiver. The opposing team cannot bother him, knock him off of the ball.
Number 26.
They're going to call it on Kemp. Oh, I want to see the replay on this.
Well, the offensive man, Charlie, was going for the ball, but so was the defensive man. Let's take another look. We can't see it from that look, but you see what happened.
He was going over the top,
Kemp
made
was
contact.
going over, and they were both going for the ball. Maybe we can see it better from here. The receiver right there. Yeah, they
You're
were
right.
both
Good
going
call.
for the
Good
ball.
call.
But
Erase my statements. Erase my statements. 32-yard penalty. First down, 16-yard line. Back in the corner, has a man, it's there. Touchdown, Buffalo. Byron Franklin. into the ballgame. They have a ways to go.
Well, Charlie, it's interesting. Dufek had been on the sidelines since the start of the second half, which gave him a chance to settle down a little bit, look at the things from the sidelines, see what the coverages were, and then when Ferguson was injured, he had an opportunity to come back and play some more. And I often think that it's good to take him out of the ball game and settle him down and then put him back in.
An 86-yard touchdown drive for the Bills. Extra point is good by Chuck Nelson. So the score is Cincinnati 31, Buffalo 14. For Byron Franklin, that is his 4th touchdown on the season. For Joe Dufek, that is his 4th touchdown pass. Franklin, the leading receiver for the Bills. We'll be back with a 2 minutes and 3 seconds. That is the time remaining. Third quarter, Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati 31, Buffalo 14. A Cincinnati victory combined with a Pittsburgh loss, second half of the doubleheader against the Raiders, would mean that Cincinnati is in the playoffs as the champions of the Central Division. Should Pittsburgh win, then they will be the champions. So don't go away. We've got a lot of football left on NBC this afternoon. This one will be down in the end zone by Stanford Jennings, and Cincinnati has the ball on their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Now, 31-14 lead, just under 2 minutes to go in the third. Kenny Anderson still in. When do you go to Boomer Esiason?
Well, I don't think you go to him here, Charlie, because Buffalo has just scored, and they've got a little momentum. If Buffalo would stop the Bengals and force them to punt, and they take it right back in, I think Sam White would feel like, hey, we've lost something. So you leave your main guy in there until there's no doubt about the outcome. Of course, the other hand, you don't want to get Anderson hurt.
Larry Kinnebrew, the ball carrier. Now, we mentioned not too long ago that he was carrying on first down the option in the field, Darrell Talley getting the call. And a pickup of around 8 yards on the play, second down and 2. Normally, you see Larry Kinnebrew with 558 yards rushing, 4-yard average coming in the ballgame. Basically, in short yardage situations, touchdown in this ballgame, total of 10. That's a lot of words to get to the fact that Cincinnati, they're already working on the clock. And Kinnebrew is the man that they have chosen to carry the ball. He doesn't fumble a lot. Picks up good chunks of yardage. Let's run it down a little. 8 carries, 32 yards. Kinnebrew, here he comes again. Boy, Kinnebrew takes everybody with him when he goes out, doesn't he?
Number 59, David, is a small linebacker. He only weighs about 210 pounds. He's a rookie out of Texas Tech. There's a strong safety there. He's playing today at linebacker because the injuries to the linebacking core, and they're running right at him. The big Kinnebrew at the small David, and he's going to be a good ball player. He just needs to bulk up a little bit in the offseason.
Gain of 10 yards, first down for the Bengals on their own 38-yard line. Cincinnati leading 31-14. And here's Jennings. 45-yard line, a pickup of 7, so it'll be second down and 3. Steve Freeman with the tackle. So now Buffalo's got to take the runaway. They cannot allow a long, time-consuming drive by Cincinnati.
One thing Cincinnati has always done, and that is play a lot of people. They play a lot of running backs. They play a lot of wide receivers, and they get in all their tight ends, so you never know who's coming at you.
Officials spot the ball at the 44-yard line. The music tells the story. We're in a countdown to the quarter. Double zeros are up. That is the end of the third quarter. The score, Cincinnati 31, Buffalo 14. And we'll be right back to Riverfront Stadium after these messages from your local station. This is Charlie Jones, Bob Greasy. We open the fourth quarter. 15 minutes of action remaining in the season for the Buffalo Bills. 15 and possibly more for the Cincinnati Bengals. Larry Kinnebrew. Buffalo 46.
I'm impressed with Kinnebrew. Did you see the way he just dove for that extra yardage? Did a little flip and came up on his feet. Here we'll see 76. Smurl fighting Remington up front.
That's a nice move. Now, Kinnebrew 6'1", listed at 252. Remember that. And we really think he's about 10 pounds heavier. 52 yards and 10 carries. 5.2-yard average for the Brew. First down, Buffalo, 46-yard line. And we have jumping. Smurlus made contact. Now, he may have been drawn off. We'll have to wait and see.
Encroachment, number 76 on the defense. First down.
That's the second time that he's been now. Notice the pointing. Now, there's a little fine note, and we will be happy to explain that to you because the offensive center, Dave Remington, puts one hand on the football, the other one is over on his knee, and you kind of just make
well, you don't want to incriminate anybody here, Charlie, but sometimes sometimes the offensive linemen will maybe open and close their hand exactly when the quarterback will say a hut, and it may be on two, and they'll do that on their first one, and something's moving there to get Smurlus moving.
First down and 5. And Kennebrew gets the Bengals moving. He picks up about 4 yards on the play.
Joe's not in a very good mood. Fred Smurlus is not in a very good mood anyway because the Pro Bowl valuing was last week, and this was the first year that he hasn't made the Pro Bowl. And he feels like he's had a pretty good season. Of course, the Bills at 2-13, you're not going to get many Pro Bowlers off of that team. But one of the men that got in the game, Joe Nash, at nose tackle, is from Boston College, and of course he is too.
On the sideline, left 15-yard line on crutches. The ovation is for Chris Collinsworth. Boomer Esiason comes in at quarterback. There was a dual ovation. Stanford Jennings. Part of the ovation, of course, was for Ken Anderson coming out. He said, when would Boomer come in? I said, when would I asked the question, and you said he would come in with 13:35 to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, Anderson's had a good afternoon. There's no doubt about that. And I think Sam probably feels pretty secure right now. Boomer is a very good quarterback, and he gave him good field position when he put him in. I like that. I mean, I'd love to start every drive on the other team's 34-yard line.
First and 10. Buffalo 32. Pass is complete. Isaac Curtis. His first reception in 6 games. His 12th of the year. Coming to the end of a truly great career for this outstanding athlete from San Diego State.
Well said, Charlie. He has been an outstanding receiver, and things have really not gone that well for him this year as we take another look at Boomer, the rookie, throwing to the veteran Isaac Curtis.
Curtis being brought out, and he'll receive an ovation. And Sam White is out to greet him at the 40-yard line.
But Isaac, even when things didn't go as well, was not a rebel rouser. He didn't cause problems for the team. He was a team player first.
Fumble on the snap by Boomer. Isaac picks it up. Down at the 27-yard line. He'll lose a yard on it.
Like the ball hit him right in the hands, and Boomer may have been moving a little quick. Learn to get down, Boomer.
The center now is Bruce Kazurski, rookie from Holy Cross, taken in the 9th round.
Which makes a difference. New quarterback and new center. Should have had some exchange problems.
That's the bad news. The good news is, though, they work together on the scout team, putting the other team's play. Boomer throws, far side. One-handed grab by Strider, and a flag is dropped. Steve Strider. Oh, great reception.
See that little, it looked like he was asking for some applause as he ran near the sideline.
This game now developing into a series of seasonal highlight moments.
Offside, number 76, defense. A penalty is reviewed.
Fine catch.
It's first down.
Goes over the side and says, what about that? What do you think, that was a pretty good catch? What is this?
Ball at the 20-yard line of Buffalo, first down. 11:44 left of the season for the Bills. Cincinnati out in front, 31-14. are you?
Well, no, I'm not, Charlie, because Boomer Esiason needs to work. I was surprised he threw that ball because he waited too long to get rid of it. It was double coverage. He could have thrown a lot sooner, but these are the things that Esiason has got to learn. He's going to learn it. Just a matter of getting him in there and getting the experience.
Second and 10, 20-yard line.
Boomer Esiason that are getting the playing time and making these plays, as far as their development is concerned, it's very important.
Fifth touchdown of the year for the rookie Stanford Jennings from Furman, taken in the third round of the draft. Prior to hold, Jim Breach to attempt the point after, and Bruce Kaczorski is the center. And it's caught. 38-14, Cincinnati with 11:34 left to go. An 80-yard drive in 12 plays as the Bengals put this one away. We'll be back with a kick. The celebration has started in Cincinnati. Breach kicking off. Van Williams with the return for Buffalo. Van is to the 15, to the 20. Fighting his way out of that. 24 yards on the return. He was pushing and shoving. That's just kind of frustration at this time of the year. Nothing more, nothing less. Jimmy Turner for the Cincinnati Bengals.
You got that right, Charlie. The Bengals are feeling good. They've won their last 4. It's almost been like a playoff game each week for them because they couldn't lose. They were 2 games behind with 4 to go with the Steelers. They've won all 4, and they're hoping that maybe later on we'll see these 2 games here, Pittsburgh and the Raiders, or Kansas City at San Diego, the second half of the doubleheader, that good things may come to them. But it's been like a playoff game every week for them.
Buffalo from their own 27-yard line, first down. Dufek throws. Pass is complete to Riddick. Watch it to 33-yard line. James Griffin and Ray Horton. Gain of 6, second down and 4. Now, we've talked about Cincinnati, what they're playing for from this point on. Continuing momentum, they're up, they're hot, everything seems to be working their direction. What about Buffalo? Their offensive team is on the field. They're down 38-14. They're coming to the end of their season.
Well, it's been a difficult season for them, Charlie. We'll get back to that after this play. It's been a difficult season, obviously. They've had some injuries. I think the key injuries that they've had has been to Butler, Jerry Butler, who hurt his knee last year, and then Frank Lewis, who was a fine wide receiver, couldn't make passes physical, so he didn't come back this year. They've had other problems. The running game hasn't been there early on. It's come on now with Greg Bell doing so well. The pass protection wasn't that well. Kay Stevenson has said that, sometimes our pass protection hasn't been there. Sometimes the quarterbacks haven't played well. It's been a combination. The pass rush has not been there all year. And then, they've had trouble with their place kicker. So it's been a real team effort.
Dufek has completed 15-21. Goes deep. They'll rule it incomplete. John Simmons came up with the ball. Preston Denard, the intended receiver. A little wrestling tackling Matt Ford at the 27-yard line. We'll bring it back. It'll be 4th down and 4.
Dufek is going to air this one out. He has double coverage, as you can see, just trying to go up and make the play.
He was close to pass interference on Simmons' part, reaching over above the helmet.
Yeah.
But it wasn't called, so it wasn't pass interference.
I think Simmons knew that he didn't catch it because he stood up and didn't run right away. But there are some positives for the Bills, Charlie. I mean, Greg Bell has had a great year. He came on late and then really has been playing very well. The win over Dallas showed that when they get it all together, they can play. And Byron Franklin's had a big year, catching a lot of passes, and they can get some people back next year, get the injured people back, and have a good draft. I think they can really challenge.
4th and 4 from the shotgun. Dufek pass, high, tip, incomplete. 38-14, Cincinnati leading. 4th down and 4. Why not go for it? 10:54, time remaining. Cincinnati taking over on down at the Buffalo 33-yard line.
Case Stevenson is really high on Joe Dufek. I know he's got a strong arm. He's very intelligent. He can only get better with this playing time.
The ball at the Buffalo 33-yard line. I look now to see Larry Kennebrew, number 28 from Tennessee State. Carries to the 26-yard line, picks up 7. 2nd down and 3. Donald Wilson with the tackle. Kennebrew punishes a defensive player.
As a defensive back, you're kind of hoping that 2 or 3 linebackers are hanging on to him by the time he gets back to you.
At least you've slowed him down a little. Not kicking Buffalo on that last time, of course, because of the score situation. In reality, it does add one more factor to the ball game, and I'll tell you what it is right after this play. Here's James Brooks. 24 yards, 1st down, goal to go. Maybe a little going for it.
I think you got it exactly, Charlie. He's limping a little bit when they hurdled that defender back there. What a great run, though. This shows you a little bit of the ability and talent. He's a fine receiver, but a good runner. You know, that's very dangerous to do, start hurling people when somebody else is right near you.
Pretty good hurdler, too. Nice form. Look at that. Right leg lead. Won't challenge Edwin Moses. And just for those of you that have been pro football fans for many years, you know, that used to be illegal. They changed that rule a few years back. 1st down and goal to go, and Cincinnati will take a timeout. So we'll be going away. 9:24 left to go in the ball game. Bengals out in front, 38-14. Remember that story about a special? On the near sideline. The good news is that the X-rays were negative on that left ankle. That's the one that's been bothering him. And he heard it on a 27-yard reception, fought his way to the 1-yard line that set up the touchdown by Kennebrew in the 1st half that broke the tie at 7-7. There's the fumble, and the Bills come up with the football. Kennebrew fumble.
Charles Rome comes up with the recovery.
So he has a little candle on his birthday cake. He's 30 years old today.
Right. Happy birthday.
So here's another look at the fumble.
Never had possession.
Just pop loose. And we'll be back to Riverfront Stadium in a moment. Kofer on the sideline. The quarterback is Joe Dufek. The Bills, with this loss, will have the #1 draft choice in the National Football League. There's been a lot of speculation. The Bills think perhaps too much. Everybody's asking about it. Will it be Doug Flutie? Could be.
Well, I think that's something they have to decide, Charlie, whether Dufek, number 19 right here, is going to be the answer, whether Ferguson is or whether Matt Kofer, who is standing on the sideline next to Ferguson, is. But certainly they're going to have the 1st draft choice, and whether it's Flutie or anybody else, they have to find out about their quarterbacks. And You know, it's been a tough season for Ferguson. We were talking about it a little bit earlier, but, you know, he took his demotion with a lot of class. He's helped Dufek whenever he could. He's not as mobile as he once was, but
none of us are.
You gotta wonder, would he be willing to come back next year as a reserve, as a backup situation? You know, we mentioned about Kenny Anderson, and Anderson said it would maybe be best for him, maybe best for his future. Maybe that's the same case with Ferguson.
Second down and 6, pass is incomplete. Now what happened there is Brookins was the intended receiver. He read the defense to give him the inside route, and Dufek read the defense to give him the outside, and in reality they were on the same page, but one of them had the book upside down.
But what is happening now in professional football, as you see him talking about it, is they're giving the receivers a lot of options. They have to read the coverage. If you read the coverage, you run to the way the defensive man is not there. So if he reads it wrong and the quarterback reads it differently, obviously you're going to have, but there's more options. There's more indecisiveness on the part of the receivers. That's why you can't be a young receiver or a young quarterback and be on the same page all the time. You have to be in there at the experience we talked about.
Third down and 6. There it is. Riddick has him, and he steps out of bounds. Picks up the first down about the 17-yard line. James Griffin was there for the defense. Going out of bounds, stops the clock. 9:01 is the time remaining. Now, Buffalo started this drive at their 5-yard line. Buffalo's best field position to start a drive today throughout the whole ball game has been their own 27-yard line. $17-yard line. First down, 10 yards to go. Four-man rush. Comes over the middle to Ryan Franklin. Franklin goes to the 20-yard line. He'll pick up 3. James Griffin with the tackle. Added a second down and 7. Offensively, what is Buffalo doing now? They're going to run a little hurry-up offense here. Cincinnati is going to give him the short stuff underneath, not let them go long.
Oh, of course. They're just sitting back in zones, and he's increasing his accuracy right here.
And his footwork, and he gets sacked at the 5. Tim Crumry got him, his 5th sack of the season, 2nd sack of the ball game for Cincinnati.
Crumry was kind of looking at him with an evil eye, like he was. Crumry, the wrestlers, will look in the middle of your screen. He's run right around 53 Grant. And now the ball should be gone. When you see that the party's over with, you got to get rid of the ball, but he looks at him when he gets up. Of course, Crumry was the ex-wrestler, last state high school champion, and he says, I'd like to wrestle in your class. Well, Dufek probably weighs 215. He was probably a heavyweight, Crumry.
Third down and 21, 6-yard line. Side and incomplete. That time Dufek had to get rid of the ball. He was running out of time. Ray Griffin had the coverage on the far side. So in reality, he was throwing that one away.
Well, of course, as a defensive lineman, these situations you just love. You know they have to throw, and you want to get after them.
Remember I told you there was another story going on here today? Well, he's on the field right now. Number 88, Mike Martin, came into the ball game, leading punt returner in the National Football League. With what he has done today, he will win that title for the Cincinnati Bengals. Mike Martin out of the University of Illinois in his 2nd year. There he is. And the statistics for 1984. Picks this one off at the 45. He has 5 yards. Has 10 yards on this return.
I think if I was the Bengals, I would get him out of there now since this game has been decided and keep him healthy for a possible playoff.
I want him to leave him in so we can mention that fact, though. We've got a timeout. We'll be back in a moment. Cincinnati leads. The statistics for Mike Martin. 15.7-yard average. 24 punt returns, his longest being 55. Number 1 punt returner in the National Football League. John Farley, the rookie of Cal State Sacramento, the ball carrier.
Charlie, we have 2 of the youngest head coaches in the National Football League here today, and one of them, Kay Stevenson, with the cap on there as you see him talking to Dufek. A couple years ago, he was an assistant for Chuck Knox. When Chuck Knox left Buffalo and went to Seattle, Chuck Knox took all of his assistants with him, most all of them, and Kay Stevenson had to go out and get his own assistants. We'll take a look at this panel after this play.
Play action fake. Larry Kinnebrew. About the 38-yard line. He'll pick up about 6. Go ahead.
Kay Stevenson has been the head coach for 2 years. He's been with Buffalo 7, but he's been the head coach 2. Miller McCollum has been there 5, but all the other ones, Milt Jackson, Don Lawrence, they all came either last year or this year. So what Kay Stevenson had to do is go out and find all these different assistants. Chuck Knox took it with him. So what you end up doing is coaching the coaches, your philosophy, and then they coach the players. It's a very difficult situation to go out and get different coaches of different philosophies and mold them into your own.
3rd down 3. Jerry Williams, the intended receiver. Here's a note, program note. Shortly, those of you watching this game in Pittsburgh and Kansas City will be leaving us. You'll be joining the Steelers-Raider game or the Chiefs-San Diego Chargers game, and we'll keep the rest of you informed on this game throughout, of course, the rest of the afternoon on NFL 84. They'll be updating what is happening here, kind of tying this story together. And if we have early scores in that ball game, for those of you watching the end of this one, then we will do that. And then most all of you then will be joining one of the games in the second half of the doubleheader. 4th down and 3.
Just to finish my story, Charlie, on those assistant coaches, I think that's one of the reasons Chuck Knox has been so successful at Seattle, because he has had all the same coaches and the same philosophies with him all along. Of course, they've got good players also.
Donald Wilson set to return the punt of Pat McAnally. Fair catch is called for and taken at the 11-yard line. So Buffalo will have possession at their 11-yard line following a 28-yard kick with now 6 minutes and 6 seconds left to go in the ball game. Cincinnati leading 38. State, he's listed as the 3rd quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals with Shonert hurt, and you'd have to say in reality he's the 4th quarterback.
And the son of Bonnie Clark, the head coach of the Detroit Lions.
Buffalo's ball, their own 11-yard line. 1st down and 10. Dufek's pass tipped, intercepted. John Simmons on the return. 5-yard line, end zone, touchdown. To 14. It's good. For John Simmons, his first touchdown as a Cincinnati Bengal in his 4th year.
This is one of the things you do when you're behind and you're just trying to catch up and make some plays. You wouldn't ordinarily throw that ball, but also I think you're not as bad as the score is going to indicate, nor is Cincinnati as good. He wouldn't have been throwing it, but it's a big play for Simmons. The ball is going to be deflected. The old tip ball drill, and the defensive backs are right there. You got to give them credit for making the play.
43 yards on the return. He got some pretty good blocking from his teammates, too.
Not bad.
A moment of levity. This is when I feel we ought to have what National Football League, as I call the uncle rule.
Yeah.
Buffalo comes out and hollers, "Uncle," we run the rest of our commercials, and that's it. Okay.
Yeah. It's been a tough year for the Bills.
Don't forget the second half of the doubleheader. Pittsburgh, the Raiders, Kansas City, San Diego. As Breach kicks out. Van Williams on the return. On the 20-yard line. Jimmy Turner with the tackle. And Joe Dufek will come back in. One of the things that you've talked about, we've talked about in other ball games that have gotten out of hand in the second half, one thing that Dufek needs is to take a lot of snaps in a game. It's different than practice, or it's different than preseason. He needs this.
Everybody reacts differently. Like we saw a little earlier, the center snap for the Bengals. You said they work on the scout team, but that is just a little bit different than being out here with a guy over your nose that's going to slap you upside the head.
Washington leading St. Louis by 6 in that ball game. Dufek's pass is dropped. Booker Moore, the intended receiver. Ray Horton was nearby for Cincinnati. It'll be second down and 10 at the Buffalo 20-yard line. 5:34. That is the time remaining. And the Anderson, he's checking the clock also.
And we talked about Kay Stevenson a little earlier. Sam White's the other young coach has done a great job. He started off 0-5. He replaced Forrest Gregg, who Forrest really drove the players, worked them a lot harder. And Sam's attitude is almost get yourselves ready. It's more of a finesse. He came from Bill Walsh in San Francisco. He's a great teacher, really a master of the passing game, and he wants them to get themselves ready. When he came, he said, "I'm not a puppet of Paul Brown." He says, but if he's got something to say, I'll listen. And I think that's some wise words from a young head coach that respects Paul Brown and what he's done for the ball game.
Third down and 6 for Buffalo. There's the time remaining. The ball on the Bills' 24-yard line. Then we have a little jumping and flags flying. A moment ago, we saw a shot on the sideline of Ken Anderson. If I keep one picture of Ken Anderson in my mind, it is at the end of the Super Bowl that the Cincinnati Bengals were in. They lost against the 49ers. Very close ball game, hard fought, had a chance to win it, the goal line stand. Remember him walking off at the end of the ball game with his son on his shoulder. So I think Ken Anderson, he really has his priorities in order. He's a neat young man. I like him.
Well, he's a good man, like you say, Charlie. He smiles a lot more off the field than he does on the field. He's very serious on the field, but you'd really have to like him. If you got to know him, you'd really like him off the field. I called him a couple of weeks ago when I was doing a game, and he was cooking chicken, barbecuing chicken, and all of his kids they were all running around and almost dropped the chicken, and the kids were helping him. And just a nice young man.
With the penalty, third down and 1. This pass is dropped. Mitchell broke it. Very catchy.
Dufek's doing all he can, as we see. Not only is he gaining from this, but the receivers have to gain something from it too. Very catchable pass. Brookins with great speed.
And it'll be fourth down and 1. And of course, with the score 45-14 and just over 5 minutes left, Buffalo's in a 4-down situation. We've seen they've been in one for the last 5 or 6 minutes. Tony Hunter in motion. And Greg Bell picks up the first down. He has 6 yards to the 35-yard line. Bobby Kemp makes the tackle. I wonder how much yardage Greg Bell would have had if Buffalo would have not been out of so many ball games early, because you have to go to the passing mode to play catch-up. Yeah, I'm impressed with him. I saw him in preseason. I was impressed with him then.
I think he got off to a slow start because he was injured so much in college, and then once he got the system down and really got into the flow of the offense, he's done very well. Really look for him to have a big year next year, having known the system and being healthy.
First down, Buffalo. They're on 35-yard line. 4:19 and counting. Time remaining in the game. Cincinnati leading 45-14. This pass is complete to Franklin, and he falls forward to the 49-yard line. He picks up 14 yards in the first down. Ray Griffin with the tackle. Now, to remind you again, in case you missed it, and I don't know how you could have missed it, and that is the fact that Cincinnati, with the win, this puts them in the position that should the Raiders beat the Steelers. Well, the celebration has started with a big smile, and that's Brian Blados on the sideline, rookie, first-round draft choice. Flag is down. Pass is complete to Speedy Neal. He's close to the first down marker. But just to wrap that up one more time, if the Raiders defeat Pittsburgh, Cincinnati will be the champions. Second half of the doubleheader on NBC. If the Steelers beat the Raiders, the Steelers will be the champions. So it all comes down to, as you said with your quarterback quote, a win and a wait. And so Cincinnati has this one in the book. They have the first half of your quote, a win. Now they have to wait and see. And the Bengals have a record. If they do go on to win the championship, the record in the division is 8-8, and that'll be the worst record for a division champion in NFL history. The closest one, Minnesota, back in 1978. They won the NFC Central Division. Their record was 8-7-1.
There's been a lot of talk in Miami, Charlie, about if the Dolphins do have the best record, which it looks like they probably will if they beat the Cowboys, that they should be able to play the team with the worst record in the AFC.
Rather than a wild card.
Rather than a wild card. It just so happens that the wild card this year has a better record than a division champion. And of course, the other side of that coin is then you would have teams in the same division playing each other, and they try to get away from that.
Get away from that. 3 minutes, 37 seconds left to go in this game here at Riverfront Stadium, the 16th of the season. Chance to remind you that today's telecast, presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Bengals and the National Football League is prohibited. Second down, 15, 44-yard line.
Got to give a lot of credit to that man right there, Sam White, for hanging in, sticking with his ideals, sticking with his players.
And it is incomplete. Brookins, the intended receiver, and Ray Horton played him perfectly. Just pinned him against the sideline.
If you can think back 10 or 11 weeks to the time when the Cincinnati Bengals were 0-5 in the heat that Sam White was taken, and they were used to winning in this town, and a lot of things weren't going right, but he stuck by his guns and did what he felt was right, and turned them around, and then they had some problems. They've had some people depart. Dan Ross left, and had some other people go to the USFL. They had a coaching change, obviously, so the players really need to get into the system, and they lost Ken Riley, their defensive back. He was a leader for them.
James Griffin with the interception. To the 20. He's got it. Here's the extra point. Reach to make the attempt. It's good. It was 7-7 at the end of the first quarter, 28-7 at the half, 31-14 after 3, and now it's 52-14.
Dufek didn't even see Griffin coming from the right side. And what you're seeing right here now is two teams at the opposite ends of emotional roller coaster, because there aren't many Bills that are very interested in playing the rest of this ball game. As you can see, not many going over to make the tackle. The Bengals are going, hopefully, into the playoffs, and the Buffalo Bills are going home. And all they're concerned about right now is Buffalo is not getting injured. They want to get out of this ball game and just get home. Of course, the Bengals are hoping for some good things later on this afternoon.
Cincinnati 52, Buffalo 14. Dufek serving up 2 touchdown interceptions. The first to John Simmons, the second that you just saw to James Griffin. Not a bad average, you know. 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, to spread a year apart. Here is Breach kicking off. Donald Wilson on the return. Near the 30-yard line. I want to address, this is a commentary. This is my opinion. There's been talk that this would be the end of the road for Kay Stevenson as a head coach of the Buffalo Bills. I don't want to get into it. I don't think that's our decision. I think it's a Buffalo Bills decision. And there's been a lot of talk of people that they've talked to and that type of thing. I like Kay. I think he's a good man, but I don't want to get into it.
It's been a tough year for him. But let's look back to last year. Last year they were saying he was 8-8 with a team that had a lot of injuries, and they were calling Kay Stevenson the best young head coach in the National Football League. Things haven't gone that well. Now, you don't lose being the best in 1 year. But like you say, that's not for our decision, but it's been rumored that...
Pass complete to Booker Moore. But I just wanted to mention it because somebody might say it's something that we're avoiding.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, there it is. And we're avoiding it.
Yeah. Well...
Because they're not going to listen to my opinion anyway. Nobody in my house listens to my opinion. Why would they listen to it in Buffalo? Here's Dufek. Pass is complete. Clock moving on his countdown. 2:33. Jimmy Turner and Reggie Williams for Cincinnati.
Now what the Bengals are going to do, they're going to go in and take a quick shower. And as soon as they can get out of that locker room, they're going to get home or get to somewhere where it has a TV set. And they're going to plop in front of that TV set and watch the Steelers and pull for the Raiders. Now, can you imagine teams in the National Football League pulling for the Raiders? I don't think there are many around who's going to pull for the Raiders. But the Bengals will be one.
You and I are going to be doing the same thing. We're going to get to a television set to watch that game. The reason that we want to know is we're doing the wild card game next weekend between the Raiders and Seattle, and it'll be either in Seattle or the Raiders. We know the teams, but we don't know the locale.
Seattle.
And again, congratulations to Denver. That's great that they're with.
Be in Seattle or L.A.
Seattle or L.A. What did I say?
The Raiders.
Oh, well, Raiders and Los Angeles are same words. Same words on it. Thank you, though, for that correction. 44-yard line of Cincinnati. Pass is incomplete, and a flag was dropped at the 31-yard line. That stops the clock with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left to go. It's kind of a strange, topsy-turvy year in the National Football League. In the American Football Conference, Miami off. I thought they had a shot at going undefeated. New England, I thought, would take a stronger run at them. I thought the Jets would play stronger in the East. I thought the Central Division would be just as competitive, but I thought there would be more numbers on the win side than the loss side. And I think without a doubt that the AFC West is the best division right now as a complete division, the National Football League. We have Kansas City and San Diego, 2 very good ball clubs, battling for last place.
Yeah, exactly. And the strength has been in the West. The Central has been really a weak division this year, and really the East has not been that strong.
But then what you said earlier, let's go back. It is from here on, it's the teams that are on the roll at the end of the season that continue that roll through the playoffs. Third down and a couple. There's the first down. Booker Moore on the receiving end. Ray Horton with the tackle. We won't have one here. It's 52-14, but we have something for you at home. Here comes another of those fantastic finishes that we've been talking about, the second half of the doubleheader. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Raiders, that game already underway in the Coliseum in Los Angeles, and they're about 10 minutes into the first quarter in, actual wristwatch time, but not that much in playing time, probably 4 or 5 minutes with no score. And Pittsburgh Raiders, Kansas City, San Diego, the second half of the doubleheader on NBC. 2 minutes to go. Dufek's pass is complete. Mitchell Bookins, and Bookins is dropped by James Griffin, who just a moment ago had the interception for the touchdown. A gain of 8 yards on the play, 2nd down and 2, 32-yard line. And there's the clock, and it's an inexorable countdown. This pass is complete. Byron Franklin picks up the 1st down. The clock continues to move. Reggie Williams makes the tackle along with Guy Frazier. 2 outside linebackers converging on the receiver. 1st down, Buffalo. 1 minute and 15 seconds to the end of the regular season for these two teams. Far side pass is complete to Booker Moore, and Moore steps out at the 21-yard line. Go for a gain of 7. Guy Frazier was there. Clock is stopped. 1:07 time remaining. Danny Green, our statistician, Mike Leonard and Bill Schwarberg, our spotters. Thank you, gentlemen. Pleasure to be with you once again. And it's a little warmer today than it was the last time we were here. Here about a month ago, and it was in the 20s or the 10s or the teens with the wind chill factor. And here it is very comfortable in the upper 60s, low 70s. 2nd down and 3. 1:07 left to go. He held on to it. Good reception. Was that Julius Dawkins? Yeah. Jimmy Turner was there for the defense. And timeout has been called. Buffalo calling a timeout. Now, in the 1st half, here's Chris Collinsworth on crutches. Now, he's been bothered by an ankle injury. Ball game at this point was tied 7-7. He picks up 27 yards on this play, Bob. Takes him to the 1-yard line.
Say his left ankle had been bothering him, and it just so happens that Romes falls on his left ankle. Now, if it would have been his shoulder, probably somebody would have fallen on his shoulder. I don't know why it is, but it seems like whenever you have a bang bruise or a bang knee or an ankle going into the ball game, it seems like that's always the thing that you get banged up again. But the report has been that it's not broken, and that obviously you see he's on crutches, and if the Bengals do make the playoffs, they'll have 2 weeks to get it ready.
X-rays are negative, so there is a bit of good news. And this, of course, could ramp up his career as far as Cincinnati is concerned. Regular season, as all of you know by now, I'm sure he has signed a contract with the USFL.
Bengals are going to be hurt next year for if Collinsworth doesn't come back, if Isaac Curtis retires. Last year they lost Dan Ross, Kenny Anderson doesn't come back, or the changing of the guard, so to speak, in Cincinnati.
Pass is complete to the 9-yard line. As you watch the clock, of course, Buffalo would like to end up the game on a high note, and that is as we come down to the closing seconds to end it with a touchdown.
I think that the changing of the guard has happened in Buffalo, too, with Joe Cribbs going to the USFL and Jerry Butler being hurt. If they can get Butler back and get some of these young players, I think they'll be all right.
Rob Riddick to the 1-yard line. There was a fumble right at the end of the play, and Buffalo retains possession. It'll be 1st down and goal to go at the 1-yard line, 20 seconds and counting. And now Buffalo will stop the clock. Sure, they want the touchdown. I don't blame them. I would too. Dufek has completed 30 of 47 for 250 yards. An opportunity here for us to remind you that the executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson. Today's game was produced by Kenneth Edmondson, directed by Andy Rosenberg. Our technical director, Ron Whitaker, and our associate director, Doug Graber. And don't forget, coming up, 2nd half of the doubleheader on NBC. Some of you will be seeing the game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Los Angeles Raiders, and some of you I know that will be watching are Cincinnati Bengals fans. Kansas City, San Diego will be seen in some areas of the country. And of course, now what has happened here, 52-14, Cincinnati has this one. The Raiders and the Steelers will determine the champion of the Central Division. If the Steelers win, then the Steelers are the champions. If the Raiders win, the Raiders are champions. Pete Koch trying to leave the field. They were left to Kim Minchuk. He hollered at him to come back. And Greg Bell goes over the top for the last touchdown of the season for the Buffalo Bills. That is his second of the ball game. So he scores the first touchdown, and what with 14 seconds left on the clock could well be the last of the game. 52-20 with the extra point to come. The Cincinnati Bengals out in front of the Buffalo Bills.
It's been a good year for Greg Bell. Caps it off with a touchdown, and I think he's going to be a great player in this league, Charlie.
I do too.
Boyd's injury.
You know, a nice thing for him, 2 touchdowns in this ballgame, his hometown, Columbus, Ohio. Here's the extra point. And he got it. So Chuck Nelson with the extra point, and that makes the score Cincinnati 52 and Buffalo 21. 14 seconds left. You go to the onside kick and try to get another one? Why not?
Well, as we look at the Buffalo Bills and then the cheerleaders, I think Buffalo is, all they're thinking about is getting back in on the plane and taking about a month off, and then I'm sure they're going to have an off-season program with strength and conditioning. All of the teams in the National Football League now have it. It seems as though if you don't have an off-season program, either strength or running or something, that you're going to be losing a step or two in the off-season. You have to do it just to keep up with everybody else.
Remember that on that touchdown that Pete Koch was trying to come out of the ball game, number 71 for Cincinnati, and the players were hollering to come back in. He came back in. Well, I think we have a quick count of a freeze frame. We can count. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I see. I count 11, but I may have now wrote it. And there may have been one hidden there. Oh, there's number 12. Oh, oops. Caught you. He was hiding out there. That's all right. Scored doubly tough. They would have refused the penalty anyway. The lineup suspiciously like an onside kick. Would you not say? Here we go. Everybody full head of steam. Get the bounce. No. Picked up. Could be a score. James Brooks scooped it up and went out at the 8-yard line. Seconds left on the clock. Oh,
he wanted that. You know he was thinking about it. Doing exactly that. He knew they were going to kick it to his side. He says, give me a good bounce and I'll break a tackle and go all the way. Well, it's a happy time right now, Charlie, for the Cincinnati Bengals, because they feel as though they've had a great day. They've had a great half season. They've come back from adversity. Now they're thinking we're just going to go right on into the playoffs, and if the Steelers win, they're out, and they're going to be very upset about it.
Dan David saved the touchdown, and Larry Kennebrew gets the call, and there it is. It's all over. The final score, Cincinnati 52, Buffalo 21.